Hello everybody, Zachary Fruling, aka Cozy Azeroth here. I'm going to be working on our, I'm not sure exactly how to describe it yet. It's a retro open world education exploration game about Socrates for the Texas Instruments TI-99 for a home computer, my favorite old retro computer. My friend Dylan's going to be joining me momentarily. In fact, I'm going to get into Discord, since he's going to be joining me in Discord momentarily. And I have to remember to share my screen there, so give me a second to get set up here. Let's see here. Share my screen. Entire screen.
Hello.
Oh, hey Dylan. There you are. I just started the stream up. Good timing.
Perfect.
Alrighty. Can you see my screen now?
Yep, sure can.
Alright. Are you at your computer so you can get a better window into things than last time?
Yep.
Nice.
I'm just sitting here. I got some food. I'm ready to go.
Me too. I got coffee. I'm ready to go. I presume we're working on the Socrates game, unless you have anything for me for the other game.
That's what I was thinking too.
Perfect. So what I've done a couple things since last time. I created a Trello board. There's nothing on it yet, but so we can do a little project management. I've made some updates to the design document. I don't know if you've taken a look, but I added... this is not a complete list, and this is a very first stab at it. I probably need to run through this a little more carefully, but these are the locations and settings from most of Plato's dialogues, the ones that are definitely attributed to Plato and not spurious, and the major ones are a couple minor ones I left out. So there's quite a few locations, but some of them are reused and whatnot. Let's see, what I've done, I thought we could start working on the map. I found this cool little free, it's like a virtual post-it note maker, you know, so you can arrange post-it notes on your screen. So I thought we could just like take post-it notes and make a map.
Okay, sure.
And then we can you know, do something in our game. I got Classic 99 loaded up here. I don't have our game loaded up yet, but I've got Classic 99 ready to go, so we can load it up whenever. So I figured we just, you know, make a make a little you know, sticky note map of our game, and that way we can you know, in a low cost way, just kind of arrange these pieces until we're relatively happy with the map before we start programming any of it.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty. Do you have any questions or thoughts before we just dive into stuff?
I don't think so. I think my only thing is that I think a good place to start would be trying to get a character to not be able to move through a wall.
Yeah, what I was thinking was that because it's mostly going to take place outdoors, because most Athens is, you know, Socrates just wandering around Athens. Some locations are indoors. What I was thinking was that most of the map would just be kind of free form, and to tell you what's where, I was thinking on each edge of the screen we could have a little sign or a little arrow, or maybe an arrow with a word indicating what's on the next screen. So if you go up, you know you're going towards the courthouse. If you go down, you're going to the coast. If you're going left, you're going whatever, you know. Which would be an easy way to, you know, get oriented wherever you are in the game. And then the locations that are indoors, we could put a border around it so you can only access them from one direction, and that would indicate that you're actually indoors somewhere, and then not walk through those walls.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that could work.
You seem hesitant.
Sorry, I was chewing a tater tot.
Blame the tater tot. What was it? Oh, Susan's over here giving me a funny look. Just smiling at me, I think. Okay, cute. I was like, what's wrong? Something in my teeth, you know. Yeah, so let's see. And so other things I've thought about since the last time while we're just talking about stuff before we dive in. I was thinking kind of like in World of Warcraft when there's oh, 1 second here.
Do my shoes, my birds. Okay. Now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Love you, honey. Yeah, love you.
Kind of like in World of Warcraft, when a character has a quest for you, there's a little like yellow exclamation mark over the character. I was thinking it might be fun to do something similar for our characters that are ready to dialogue with Socrates. They could have like a little yellow question mark above them, indicating that they've got a question, they've got dialogue, and so that's who you know to talk to. And that way we could kind of sequence things a little bit. The stuff at the very end of the game, towards the end of Socrates' life, we could put in a part of the map that's not accessible until you do some other stuff. And then once you've had a conversation, that way you'll know who you've conversed with and who you haven't and whatnot. So maybe it's just a simple way to visually represent who's ready to talk to you.
Okay, yeah, I like that idea.
Good. What else? Susan didn't like this idea as much, but I thought it was a funny idea because Socrates' wife was kind of a nag. I was thinking it might be fun every time you're on the home screen near his house, perhaps that maybe Xanthippe, his wife, is there with some nagging comment about the fact that all Socrates wants to do is meander around and talk philosophy.
You're never home.
I just thought it might be I thought of another Easter egg too. So I was thinking we might have some little like out of the way section of the map somewhere, and on that section of the map there could be a phone booth with Bill and Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in there.
Okay, cool.
just a I don't know, it's just a weird idea. It's what people think of when they think of Socrates, right? Socrates from Bill and Ted. You've seen that, right?
Mm-mm.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Nope.
Do you
haven't watched a lot of movies.
So they travel through time in a phone booth, and they're trying to. Do you know the basic plot of the movie at all? No.
It's reminding me of Doctor Who so far.
Yeah, it's very similar. One of the characters is going to flunk out of high school if he doesn't pass his history project, and Bill and Ted, they're musicians who they're in high school, but in the future they become musicians whose music like changed the world. So someone from the future is sent back in time to their time period to help them with their history project, and he gives them this time traveling phone booth and sends them off like on quests to go back in time to basically kidnap. They end up kidnapping a bunch of old historical figures and bring them into the present to help with their history project. But one of the people they kidnap is Socrates, and they call him Socrates because they don't know how to pronounce Socrates. Socrates. So yeah, that's part of the movies. They go back in time to to kidnap Socrates. Just that might be a fun little, just a little touch of humor in an otherwise relatively serious game.
Yeah, I like that. That'd be a fun little Easter egg.
Yeah, so just some out of the corner, out of the way corner of the map, and they can have some weird little dialogue. They end up having a discussion about the old song "Dust in the Wind" by Kansas, and it's almost like a stoic idea that everything is finite, everything diminishes, everything fades away. So they have this little discussion, even with the language barrier. They bond over the song "Dust in the Wind." So some little dialogue about that. So let's I guess we'll just start. Home screen. And you mentioned maybe starting at Socrates' house.
Yeah, in some sort of a room by yourself. You got to kind of navigate yourself out of it. Like
yeah, so you can only go out one way or something.
Yeah. The rest of it's all borders or walls or something.
So I think what we need to do here, just to make our lives easier when we start coding this, let's get the coordinate 0, 0. Okay, so now another sticky note. It doesn't really matter what color, I guess. We could change the color eventually. Okay. So, what direction do you want to leave Socrates' house? I was thinking from the bottom maybe, but...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That way we could actually put a border around here, and then make it so he can't walk through the walls.
Yeah.
I have to figure out how to do that. I've got a couple ideas, but I worry that the idea I came up with last time is going to prevent us from going through some of the other things we want to put on the screen, like labels for the directions and stuff. So I'll have to think about how to do that, but we'll get there one thing at a time. Let's look at the list. And I think what we should do is find, rather than just starting here, let's just get some of the things we obviously know we want on the list. So like there's several people's homes. Like one of these takes place at a dinner gathering. The location isn't known. Several of them take place in like wrestling schools. Like there's more than one wrestling school because wrestling was huge in ancient Greece. So two of these take place at some unnamed wrestling school, and one of them takes place at a very specific wrestling school. The Palestra is a wrestling school, Palestra of Tarius. But four of these dialogues take place in a wrestling school, oddly enough. Athens council chamber. One of these dialogues takes place, doesn't actually feature Socrates. It's a discussion. It's a discussion between other people about Socrates. That takes place on a pilgrimage somewhere else. Where else? Gymnasium's another one at a gymnasium. Outside the court of King Archon. Prison cell. So, you know, I guess we'll just start adding these onto the map, and we can arrange them into a grid that kind of makes sense. I don't want it to be like a tightly packed grid. I want you to have to wander a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like maybe we're in a neighborhood with other people's houses.
Yeah.
I don't know if Socrates lives off on his own or not, like, if we know.
Yeah, I don't think we have any idea, right? So I don't think anyone knows exactly where Socrates lived. So there are things we do know, like they know exactly where Plato's academy was, and like some of these specific locations, like the Stoa of Zeus is like a temple, for lack of a better word, and you know that's a real thing that you can find there. You know, there's ruins of it. It's cool, but some of these we're just gonna have to take I think the majority of these we're probably gonna have to take creative license. So like one of these discussions, this is one of the major dialogues. Meno is coming into town from out of town, and he runs into Socrates on his way into town. So you know, a lot of creative license. You know, one of the roads into town, you run into Meno. But some of these, so I think you maybe have the right intuition. Maybe we're part of a little neighborhood here. So maybe one of his neighbors is Callias. This takes place at a specific home right here. Home of Callias. Yeah. So boom, why not? Let's do it. Where's my map here again? Home of Callias. We'll get coordinates on here in a little bit. I can change the color here. Okay, what else? I think what I'll do is put a little, let's mark the ones we've put on the map here.
Good idea.
Just to keep them organized.
Yeah, that'll help.
Okay, Gorgias at a dinner gathering. So someone else's house. It's not obviously, from what I gather, it wasn't clear that it was actually at Gorgias's house. So,
dinner gathering on the sticky note.
Yeah. Yes. Perfect. I literally just started using this tool like 5 minutes before I started the stream. Yeah.
Especially since our it's like a grid like this. Useful.
Gorgias dinner party. Okay, and we'll arrange these here in a little bit. Let's keep doing that. Well, while we're on that theme, where's the symposium? Here we go. A symposium at a banquet at the home of the tragedian Agathon. So Agathon's house for the symposium discussion. Well, a little more indoor locations than I may have anticipated here, so that's okay. What's the guy's name? I forget this guy's name. Agathon. I'm just going to say symposium here so I know what it is. So I think you're right. It might make sense to have these be in a little, neighborhood part of the map where, you have to navigate between different screens to get there, but they're all kind of in a neighborhood in some way.
Yeah.
So it means they're going to be kind of grouped together in some way. We're just going to make groupings now. We're not going to worry too much about where they are yet. Yeah. Okay, so we got the symposium on here. The people I've told about this game idea really think it's interesting and weird and fun. So I'm optimistic here.
Perfect. Same.
Okay,
Yeah.
So other specific locations. Let's do the Meno one. So, on a road into Athens for the Mino. And we'll put it way off to the left or something.
Oh yeah, road to Athens.
Road into Athens. Oop, rod. Road into Athens for the Mino. And we're just going to put this way off to the side here. And we can zoom out as much as we need here. So.
Cool.
The two Alcibiades dialogues. Alcibiades, Plato describes him as Alcibiades with the golden thighs. Oh, those Greeks,
Way to be.
Okay, so we have another home location, but this one is actually a bit distant. It's at Athens Port, so it's not in like a regular neighborhood. It specifically says it's near Athens Port. So I think we want to area the map. Maybe the westmost part of the map should just be Athens Port, and then maybe a house somewhere along the western edge of our map.
Okay.
Polemarchus' house. That's a major dialogue. That's the Republic. This is like probably the most important of Plato's dialogues. So let's see, what was the name of the guy's? Polemarchus' house. Okay. And we need to say it's near the port, just to give us information to build our map with here. I'm not looking right at it. Where did it go? Republic. Oh, right there. Okay. Piraeus. Piraeus. Okay. Yeah, so maybe, I don't know, I'm just kind of trying to visualize in very, very broad brushstrokes the map. Like maybe like the northwestern part up here might be a road into Athens. Maybe the southwestern part down here might be the port. I guess we could look at the map of Athens and see where the port was. Might as well try to get some vague semblance of historical accuracy here. So here's the Pyrrhian Gate. Does that mean the port was down here? Probably. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh yeah, look, happily. That was a good guess. I haven't looked at this. So the port will be down here to the west. Boom, southwest.
Cool.
And maybe we can figure out, there's all these roads into Athens. We can figure out which specific road Mino was on and map that accordingly. So yeah, the port will be down here. Perfect. Look at us, building the world.
Building the world.
I see people tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. We're actually going to get into TI Basic at some point. I've got Classic 99 queued up, but we're doing a little planning before we get into TI Basic. So if you're watching, hoping to see us coding in TI Extended Basic, stay tuned for a little while. We gotta know what to program before we can program it. So I think there's, we clearly need to have one or more wrestling schools, right? We've got 3 different unnamed wrestling schools that may or may not be the same wrestling school, and we have one that's named specifically. The problem that I foresee is that you don't want it to be too crowded, right? You don't want to go into a room and have like 5 different conversations waiting for you. Or maybe you do. Maybe those 3 need to take place in a wrestling school, and we have a different wrestling school for this one. Or maybe they all just take place in the same 4 corners of the same wrestling school. I just don't want it to be too busy, you know?
Multiple schools could be okay.
Yeah, 4 might be a little overkill. Wrestling, because especially since I don't even know what to name them. Like, you know, these aren't named after the schools. These are named after most of these are named after Socrates' interlocutors. So let's
be more eggs, just like fun things that you might know about the time period.
So let's add some wrestling schools on there. Palestra. Let's just call it palestra number 1. And let's, I guess we'll just get all 4 on there for now and see how we like it. um, and we'll just group these together kind of out of the way here somewhere. I presume it's like gas stations. They build gas stations next to each other in fast food restaurants. Probably all the wrestling schools were in the same area, if I had to guess.
Probably.
Yeah. There's a name for that economic principle, that when businesses are competing, the optimal place is actually right next to each other. Counterintuitively. And you see that all over town if you look at any kind of business. You know, they tend to aggregate together. Okay. Theaetetus. So palestra number 2. Oh wow, that's a giant. Apparently when you add a sticky note, it doesn't resize it for you. That's super annoying. How do I do that? Oh, no. I want to resize the sticky note. Let's see how to do that. It's so weird. Okay, let's just delete it.
How'd it get so big?
I don't know. Maybe we can duplicate these. Duplicate. Yeah, here we go. That'll work. Okay. Drag here. Oh, right click. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we've got Theaetetus. Okay. Palestra of Tarius. Oh, that's right. I was going to duplicate these. Delete. Got that right. You know, it's funny. I mean, I teach philosophy, and a great many of these I never have reason to think about very much. They're just not taught commonly, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
And Lysis at a wrestling school. Okay, so another one.
It's so cool. I'm interested to learn all about this more in depth. I need to watch a bunch of videos.
Just call this palestra number 3. You know, call the. It doesn't really matter what we call them. I just want to keep them labeled so we can distinguish them from each other. That is Lysis. Okay, so here's our wrestling schools. Alrighty. So one of these takes place near, but not within, Athens Council Chamber. So let's add that onto the map here. Duplicate. I don't know where we'll put that. We'll just look at the map here in a minute. the Nexinus. So outside Athens Council Chamber. So presumably there's an inside. I'm not sure if any of the dialogues take place inside there or not. But I think, I don't mind a little bit of excess in the map. Not every room needs to be useful for something. There can be roads on the way to somewhere or whatever,
Mm-hmm. That just make it feel a little bigger.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to feel like a generously large world. Not annoyingly large where you're just meandering around aimlessly all the time, but,
Yeah. But a few screens that are just like, places to walk through and see things.
So some of these are unspecific locations. So what I was thinking is that some of these transition roads, like if there's a road to somewhere or just a blank screen, could just be somewhere random on the streets of Athens,
Yeah.
So that we can just populate the relatively empty rooms with some of these random discussions. We don't know where they were.
Yeah.
Creative license,
Perfect.
Let's see, what else?
There's so many.
Yeah, gymnasium, which is different than the wrestling school, I believe. So the sophist takes place at a gymnasium. Okay, so copy or duplicate. Maybe that's over here with the wrestling school somewhere,
Yeah.
In fact, there's, I guess these two take place at the same location because one of them, it literally picks up immediately after the sophist dialogue ends. So possibly two things there, sophist and statesman. That'd be okay. A couple of them literally are in the same location, like Crito and the Phaedo dialogue both take place inside of Socrates' prison cell. So that I was thinking that location could be one you have to unlock. Like you have to do all or most of these other conversations to unlock you have to annoy enough citizens of Athens before they prosecute you and you get sent to prison and die. Maybe we have a little. Maybe we could have a little like. This is such a weird idea, but maybe we could have like a little Socrates' reputation meter. That every time you have a discussion, his reputation goes down. he annoys enough people.
Yeah, it's almost like a side quest.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something to indicate that you're doing something in the game that has effects. Even if it's a little smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, and that's funny.
That would be funny. I like it.
Same.
Okay, Euthyphro, outside the court of the King Archon. Okay. So that's probably near there's probably the agora, the central part of Athens that has, probably the homes are on the outskirts, and some of this stuff will need to be brought to the inskirts,
Yeah. Once we have everything in there, it'll be easier.
Yeah, so let's say outside the court of the King Archon, and that will be for Euthyphro. Yeah, in fact, I'm almost certain, maybe we can look at that map again, but yeah, it's not very helpful from a... I'll have to do a little more research on some of these to figure out if some of these map onto residential areas or whatnot. I'm not an archaeologist, so I don't really know. Or a historian, really. I'm the philosopher, so...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I suspect that that these things will need to go on the. In fact, let's move the homes out of the way here.
Yeah.
And these things will probably have to go in the middle here, like that.
Cool. Yeah, it's fun starting like way off in the corner of the map too. When you get into
Yeah, exactly.
game around the edges and stuff. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, near the Stoa of Zeus. Do we know where that would have been? Temple of Zeus, I think, right here. So, okay. So that's actually going to be in the southeast. You know, I want to, even if it's a lot of creative liberty, I want to make some attempt to have the broad brushstroke layout of ancient Athens, you know?
Yeah, I agree. That makes it have a better feel.
Even if it's, you know, again, if it's only 10% accurate, I think it's better than 0% accurate, right?
Yeah, yes, I agree.
So Stoa of Zeus, which is fun. You could draw a temple or something like that. You know, it'd be fun. Which one is that one? Okay. I'm going to bring these in a little bit so I can zoom in just a little bit. Okay. There's one called Rival Lovers in a grammar school. Okay, so let's say grammar school.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm forgetting to copy here. Duplicate. Grammar school. Rival Lovers. And I think I saw this map. Not that one, must be the other one. Oh, Hill of the Nymphs. So is that like where Plato's Academy would have been? I don't know. Could be. But, you know, sure, up here to the northwest. Why not? For now. Okay, so here we go. This one takes place on a visit paid to two brothers, and I put in parentheses possibly at their house, just as that's my notation here as a note to us. Like maybe you want to put that in a house too.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Another house. Lots of houses, more than I realized actually before I put this list together. Duplicate. Just say house. What's the name of that dialogue? Euthydemus. Yeah, Greeks knew what was up when it comes to names for sure.
They really did.
Okay. So let's, even though it's kind of, these are more end game things. Let's duplicate this. Let's do Socrates' prison cell. Just say prison cell. I don't know where that would have been. I'll have to look at that. So that's for the Crido and the Phaedo. which we might be able to combine together and do like, we might be able to sequence those inside that one location.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sort of embarrassed. I don't know more about the actual like history and archaeology of this, but like where would this trial have been held? I'm gonna look it up right now. Like, was it in a courthouse? Was it outdoors with 500? I presumed it was indoors. I don't think Plato gives much of a description in the Apology. It kind of goes right into it. They're just there, So let's see. Where was Socrates' trial held? Let's see if I can find an answer here. Okay. Socrates' trial was held at the People's Court, or Heliaia, in the Agora. Okay, so right in the heart of town here, People's Court. So I think we'll just put this right here. So there were more than one court, I guess. There was this court of this King Archon, but then there were the People's Court, where they did like just day-to-day. It's supposed to be like a trial before the ruler, I guess, or if you needed to talk to the king or the magistrate or whomever. But if you were on trial, then you go to the People's Court, I guess. I don't really know. I'm embarrassed. As much as I love archaeology, I should know, and I should know much more about this.
This is all fairly new terrain to me. I know I've probably heard some of this before at school, but yeah, I don't really remember.
So let's Heliaia, Heliaia, Heliaia. That's right, and that would be for the Apology, which is the Greek word for a defense, as opposed to our modern sense of apology. Apologia was a defense, so this is Socrates' defense at his trial. Check it out. We're building a world. This is so cool.
It is really cool.
Okay, so here we go. This takes place, Minos seems to take place near a courthouse, from what I gather from the description of it. So let's just put that on the map here as kind of in the center of town somewhere. So outside a courthouse. And what was the name of that one again? Minos. So I'm going to create a little more room here. Okay, so one of these takes place near a schoolroom, which may or may not be the same as the grammar school. So let's put Hippias Major near the grammar school, as opposed to in the school. Near a, what do we say it was? Yes, this is actually near a specific schoolroom. So, Phaedostratus's schoolroom. Let's copy that. Good name, huh?
Yeah.
That was for Hippias Major. Okay, so the dialogue first Alcibiades it's not very clear about the specific location, but Socrates is helping Alcibiades before a speech at the Athenian assembly. So near the Athenian assembly, probably.
Yes.
So that's going to be in the center of town, obviously. Near Athenian assembly. Again, I just don't know enough about ancient Greece to know whether some of these are the same. Like, is the council chamber the same as the assembly? I don't know. I'll have to do a little more research on that. And it doesn't really matter, frankly. It's just a game. But so that is first Alcibiades. The second Alcibiades, it takes place, Alcibiades is on his way to pray, but I'm not sure if it's clear where he's going to pray. I figured near a temple, that's why I said possibly near a temple here. So let's just, I can try to find more information. It's been, some of these have been ages since I've read them, if I've read them at all,
Yeah, I'm interested to get into it now. Well, I didn't realize it was so fun.
So near a temple, this will be second Alcibiades. See if we can figure out what temple. But for now, let's just assume the temples are near each other. Although I don't think that's true. I think we're used to things like everyone having one or two or three religions. This is a pluralistic kind of society. So there's a temple to this god and a temple to that god, and a cult of this god and a cult of that god, and they were a little more spread out because they weren't so culturally homogenous as we are. More so in Rome than in Greece, actually. But even still, there were different kind of cults to these different gods. So it's not likely that these were next to each other if this wasn't Zeus. But again, we can kind of look at the map here and see if can we get any other. Yeah, see, temple over here and a temple at the other end of the map, right? So the temples are probably more spread out. In fact, so much so, let's just take this one and move this over here somewhere. Okay. So then we have all these, let's see, Parmenides. This one's interesting because Socrates runs in, it takes place early in Socrates' life. He runs into Parmenides and Zeno, two earlier philosophers than Socrates. So let's see if I can figure out exactly where that would have taken place. Where would Zeno be reading one of his own works? Somewhere in the center of town, certainly. But I wonder if there's a specific location. Where does Plato's dialogue Parmenides take place? Oh, Plato's Parmenides takes place in Athens, specifically at the house of Pythagoras, a friend of Zeno. During a festival, Zeno's reading his book at a house. Okay, so another house. Boom. Lots of houses. Socrates, he knew everyone. He had some friends and a lot of enemies, but he knew everyone.
That's cool.
Okay. Duplicate. Pythagoras. That is for Parmenides. We're going to play fast and loose with the time periods because so these dialogues take place over Socrates' whole life. They don't all take place within the same week, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to ignore that.
Yeah, you'll be a square. You won't
yeah, it just doesn't matter, right? So.
Yeah.
Okay, so Parmenides. Okay, one of these takes place on the outskirts of Athens in the countryside. Which is cool. I mean, I like settings like that to give you something interesting to draw, you know? I mean, draw a countryside background for it or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So outskirts of Athens and countryside. Other than going to war, that's as far out of town as Socrates ever went. He never really left Athens other than to go to war. Phaedrus takes place there. Okay. Now, so maybe that's near the road into town, you know? All right, we're running out of specific locations. I have some other locations we might have as well. Like maybe we have a little scene at the Oracle of Delphi, which is important to Socrates' life. She's the one who said that there was no one wiser than Socrates, which Socrates thought was incredible because he didn't think he knew anything. So he was on this quest to go around town and find people that were wiser than him. And lo and behold, all he found was people that didn't know what the fuck they were talking about when they were supposed to be experts on things. So he made a lot of enemies in the process. But that's why Socrates was meandering around town trying to, figure out whether wise people were really wise. Supposedly wise people were really wise. Do the poets really understand beauty, and do politicians really understand justice and stuff like that? All right, so we have all these unknown ones. I'm not sure what to do about this. This one I generally don't know what to do with because it doesn't actually take place in Athens. And yet it's one of Plato's more important dialogues. And yet it's really an aberration in terms of its structure and setting and characters. I don't think it even involves Socrates directly. So I don't know what to do about that one. But let's get all these other ones on there. Just say unknown location, and we'll put the name of the dialogue, and we can figure out where we're going to put them.
Yeah.
So unknown location. Hippias Minor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. It's got to be. It's literally all Greek to you, right? I mean, you've never read most of these. Have you read any of these? Have you read any of Plato's dialogues?
Uncertain. Only if it was required for school.
Remind me. I can't remember. Did you go to college? I don't remember.
I did, but I didn't study anything like this in college.
Gotcha. Okay. Where'd you go?
Here in Oregon at SOU.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. I tried to get on staff to teach there when I lived up there and didn't have any luck. They wanted someone with a PhD, and I don't have a PhD, so it wasn't happening.
Yeah, I went there for 2 years, and then I decided to pursue music instead, just full time. Because I was doing some music classes, but we just had more access to stuff at home, Max and I. So we were like, let's just focus on this full time instead of having to write English papers and stuff.
Like some of them, it says specifically that it's in town somewhere. It's in Athens, but it doesn't say where. So I guess we'll just have to take some liberties. Archaeologists will forgive us. Philebus.
We gotta market it to them.
What's that?
I said we gotta market it to them. They'd love it.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I'm tempted just to find some random Greek historian or archaeologist who can help us out here. With the layout. Why not, right?
It'd be really cool. Yeah, that would be super cool.
Hipparchus. Okay, I know this is tedious to do this, so my apologies to everyone watching here. I know this is really tedious, but we're going to do some coding, I promise. Clitophon. Okay. The category of dialogue I've never read. It's interesting because, you know, Plato's dialogues have an interesting history because a lot of them, people were aware of them in the ancient world, of course, they were published, and then they were kind of lost. And that's part of why we call the Renaissance the Renaissance. It's a rediscovery of things. All of a sudden, people could read copies of Plato they hadn't read. You know, maybe in the Middle Ages, maybe there were 1 or 2 dialogues they read, and they knew about all these other Platonic dialogues, but there were no copies of them. You couldn't read them. And and then during the Renaissance, there were copies of these rediscovered and made more available, and so. It's a kind of it's why it's called rebirth, rediscovery of Western culture.
Yeah.
It's different in the Arab world. Arabs had access to stuff that stuff people in the Western world didn't have access to. Okay, Cratylus. But I like this because we can have all these transition locations on the way to some of these areas, and then we can just pepper those locations with these unknown dialogues. Just out on the street somewhere, or in some random house, or whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Okay. I mean, for some of these, I think it's probably okay to take some dramatic liberties. Like, maybe we have Athens, and then, we have a couple of roads coming into Athens and out of Athens. Maybe you just follow that road to another town for 3 or 4 screens, whatever. And then when you get there, you're at this location, and we can just...
Go. Okay, I love
Sorry.
you. Have fun. I love you. Be safe. I love you.
We can have, this conversation take place on the road, 3 or 4 screens down on this road to another town.
Yeah, or it could also be like you get to the edge of town, and whenever you hit that final wall, there's like a little pop-up dialogue that's like, would you like to proceed to Mount Ida? And you like fast travel there or whatever.
Yeah, that works. I don't know what we can do to show that in TI Basic, but, just boom, you're there,
You just like press yes, and then you would go to that next thing, unless you could do like some sort of a transitional image. But yeah, I was imagining it just like change screens, or you walk there.
So let's see.
Like a little Mount Ida with an arrow.
So during a pilgrimage from Knossos on Crete to the cave of Zeus on Mount Ida. Where is Mount Ida? Is this off the mainland even? Is this on an island? Because pilgrimage from Knossos on Crete. That's an island, isn't it?
No idea.
Mount Ida. Mountain in Greece. Yes, Crete is the largest and most populous of Greek islands. Okay, that's what I thought. Mount Ida is on Crete, so this all takes place on an island, which means we got to get on a ship. So let's just say this is a stretch goal. I'm not sure how to handle this yet, but let's if we're at the port. I know this is probably really tiny it's tiny on my screen, probably tiny on the stream. Almost unreadable. Sorry, everyone. Island of Crete. That'll be for the laws. So maybe, again, this is, I think it's probably okay to take some creative liberties. Socrates didn't really leave Athens, but maybe he does go to Crete here to have this conversation, and we'll take some liberties with it. Just, I don't want to have more than one main character. It just makes no sense, you know. So it could be you get on a ship and boom, you take the ship and you're there, kind of like a little, same thing, kind of a transition to a different area. And maybe we have 3 or 4 or 5 scenes on Crete, one of which is the mountain, one of which is that little town, whatever, and we can just kind of build out a tiny little geography here to account for that. Or it could just literally take place there on Crete, but for there it might make sense to have more than a couple screens,
Yeah.
Okay, so
Explore too.
I didn't hear you there. What's that?
I said it'll be more to explore too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do want it to be fun to explore,
Yeah.
Okay, so what about this dialogue? It says, I know that it takes place at a reconvening of a conversation following the laws dialogue, which was on Crete, but does it itself take place on Crete? Let's see here. Where does Plato's dialogue, I don't have a copy of that one, epinomis, take place? Takes place in Crete. Dialogue is set during the walk, so same. Okay, so same thing. It actually seems to take place immediately after the dialogue. So much so you might even be able to blend them together. I don't really know. Okay, so let's just duplicate this. Epinomis. I do think having the Oracle at Delphi makes sense. There's all this stuff about Socrates' life, and I wasn't sure how biographical to make it, but the more I think about it, the more I think we don't really... This isn't a biography of Socrates, right? This is more like conversations with Socrates. So there's a couple things I think would make sense to put in. I had all these just other locations from Socrates' life. He goes to war and fights some battles in specific locations. I think we can just omit that altogether. It's just, there's no good way to do it. I'm not even sure what we would do about it. It's just not necessary. But there are a couple of these I do think are necessary. Like, I think we should have the Oracle at Delphi. That would be cool. Delphi being another location. And I think this would make sense too, because this is notable that Plato isn't the only person to write about Socrates. Xenophon wrote some dialogues about Socrates, and Aristophanes, the playwright, made basically a comedic satire where Socrates is kind of this quasi-magician, talking about weird magical things and supernatural things, but it's poking fun of Socrates. It's satire. And so it might be interesting to have a location where maybe Socrates runs into Aristophanes and they're getting ready for the performance of the clouds, or maybe some pieces of dialogue from the clouds or something. So let's see, where would that have... It actually takes place the first performance of the play. So let's see. Where was the first performance of Aristophanes of the Clouds? The Theater of Dionysus.
Nice.
Located on the south slope of the Athenian Acropolis. Okay, well, that's helpful. Okay, so Theater of Dionysus. And let's just say here, there's the clouds. So let's look at that map of the Acropolis again here. Oh, right here, Theater of Dionysus. So, okay, so the Agora was here, which would be like the center of town. The Acropolis with the Parthenon and whatnot was here. And the Theater of Dionysus was southeast of that. So probably like over here somewhere. Let's move these houses somewhere else. I don't know where the heck to put the houses, but we'll figure it out. It also could be that maybe one of these random temples, like the second temple, could be on the Acropolis somewhere. Let's read a little more about the Acropolis real quick. What was there? I wonder if we could just have one screen be the Acropolis. And then south of that, or southeast of that, could be the theater. What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
I just don't think many of these dialogues take place at the Acropolis. So, a Temple of Athena there. Interactive map, that's fun. Acropolis. Oh, well, no. Not very interactive. It doesn't tell us what anything is.
Everything says the same thing.
That's not helpful. Okay.
Well, the outside of the town is though. Yeah. Look.
Oh yeah. But this is probably a modern map. Yeah, this is.
Okay. There's so many. Like, okay, that makes way more sense. So it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's not. Oop, Acropolis. Oh, site plan. Here we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. Parthenon, Temple of Athena. I don't know what some of these are. Like, what is this? Oh, another temple. Okay, statue. Ceremonial gateway to the Acropolis. Okay. I don't think we need to do this. This is too much. I think we just need to have like one screen with the Acropolis there, and maybe, you know, a couple random little temples or something. I don't know. It's just none of what this game is about takes place here. You know what I mean? But yet it's it's like the most prominent visual feature. If you look at Athens from a distance, you've got the Acropolis up on a hill. You know, so. I feel like we have to have it, but we can't. I don't want to make it 12 screens wide to accommodate all this stuff that we don't need.
Yeah.
I just think we probably just have one screen and call it the Acropolis.
Okay.
Since we're going minimalist in there, there's not going to be much on each of these screens, so, you know. You know, we could maybe have a temple and a little a little graphic of a temple and a little graphic of a statue or something.
Yeah, it looks like that's pretty much what's up there was
statues and temples.
Looks like it. What is sanctuary of Zeus? What is that? Open air sanctuary dedicated to Zeus city protector. Okay, no, that's not. That was not the god Zeus. It looks like. Oh wait, yeah, statues of Zeus. Okay, I'm a little confused about that. What's this other sanctuary? Known to have contained a statue of the hero Pandion. Who's he? See, this is such a rabbit hole to go down, you know. There's so much to learn that I don't know because I'm not an archaeologist or a historian. Okay. Yeah, so let's add a screen for the Acropolis. This is already bigger than I thought it would be. This is a pretty large world.
I like it. Yeah, it's already feeling full.
Acropolis. I mean, you know, maybe one of the random conversations takes place at the Acropolis or something, you know, whatever.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's an idea, yes. Let's go back and look at this map. I know I want to actually get into TI Basic and do something, but I could spend all day just on this map, I think, but...
Yeah, I think it'll take more than a day, probably.
Yeah, that's why, you know, that's okay. But I do want to add to our game in some way today, if we can. So where is Delphi in relation to Athens? Let me look that up real quick. Where is Delphi? I've never been to Greece, so... Okay, Delphi is located approximately 180 kilometers northwest of Athens. Okay, so yeah, that's why it's sort of like with a footnote, Socrates never really went there. I think he heard about a conversation that took place, if memory serves. So let's copy one of these. But I think, you know, I don't mind taking some liberties that way. Like, you know, it's a game. It's not a history book, you know. So let's say Oracle at Delphi. Let's look that up real quick. Oracle at Delphi. Okay. Oh, hold on here. Delphi. Okay, why am I not finding any information on this? The Oracle of Delphi, through the Pythia, declared Socrates the wisest man in Athens. Okay, Socrates' friend, Charaphon, asked the Oracle if anyone was wiser than Socrates. The Pythia replied that no one was wiser. Like this little nice summary that Google's AI gives you. Search for wisdom. Socrates interviewed various Athenians reputed to be wise, finding that they thought they knew much, but actually knew little. The conclusion. Socrates concluded that the oracle meant that the wisest person is one who, like him, recognizes that their wisdom is truly worth nothing. or rather, be aware of your own ignorance. There's in Delphi, there was the famous inscription, sometimes attributed to Socrates, "Know thyself," as an inscription on the temple of Apollo at Delphi. So that'd be fun. We could have a little temple there with "Know thyself," written on it or something. That'd be cool. So let's oracle it. So duplicate Temple of Apollo. I'll just put here "Know thyself." Where would the oracle at Delphi have been? Let's see. Look, oracle at Delphi. Title of the high. Okay, Pythia is the title of the high priestess of the Temple of Apollo. Okay, so that takes place in. So probably we need Temple of Apollo outside and Temple of Apollo within.
Yeah.
Exterior of the Temple of Apollo and interior fun. All right. There's a rough sketch of all of our locations. I think we could try to get these in a grid now if you want, or we could do other stuff.
I think we could do other stuff. I think that you got it kind of in a rough little bit of a thing, but yeah, it's definitely not grid.
Yeah, definitely, it's going to have to be a grid because it's not, it's just going to be a grid-based map, So everything's going to have to line up with everything else, and then
I think let's figure out walls. Let's figure out how to make walls, basically.
Yeah, that's an idea and a half.
So we can start go from room 1 to room 2. Pick out what room we're walking out of our house into the street in front of our house. For Socrates.
Right. So let's think for a minute. So if we're going to have, before we ever start, if we're going to have interior locations and exterior locations, the interior locations need walls, the exterior locations don't. So for each location, we need to know, is it near interior or is it exterior? If it's interior, we show the walls. If it's exterior, we don't.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think, because we have to be very economical to accomplish everything we want to accomplish here, so we need to find the most efficient way to reuse stuff. What do you think, even if it's a little uninspired, what do you think about having all the interior locations have the same wall shape? Where you enter from the bottom and you just have a border, like a border around the screen, but a little entryway at the bottom where there's no border.
Yeah.
So that way we can reuse the one border for every room that and then we can change the color of it. Maybe that's really easy, but that way we don't have to have 20 different room shapes. We just have one room shape.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay.
Or maybe there's like just 4, one for doors on different sides. You just move the door wall. If it made sense in different parts of the maps, like if we entered a building from the left, maybe then when you're in the interior, the door is on the right side.
Right.
So
So basically four room shapes: entry from the bottom, entry from the right, entry from the top, entry from the left.
Potentially, depending on how we enter from the exterior when we're on the outside, how we're entering the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that being a potential. Is like, yeah.
Well, it could make the map more economical because like say we have all these houses and they're in the same neighborhood. If you want to enter them from the bottom, you have to have a buffer screen here between them. And if we enter from the top up here and from the bottom down here, we can actually pack them together on the map without having so many buffer screens with nothing going on.
Yeah.
So I like that. Then we could just have a row of rooms, map locations around this, and then have all the houses be next to each other.
Yeah, and maybe you can see like the front of the house, but not the whole house. And there's like a little door that you can walk
Yeah,
through.
some graphic. I don't know. You know, again, it's going to be interesting to, you know,
Yeah.
we're going to chew up our allotted lines in basic if I'm not sure how much detail we can go into as long and the short of it. You know, we'll have to experiment a bit probably. So, yeah. So let's open up our game as it is.
Yay.
Have you had a chance to look over any of the materials about TI Extended Basic?
No, I've been just focused on music so far this week. At a birthday party and then music stuff.
So here's our program so far.
Nice.
One thing, so you'll find quickly that the line numbers get annoying in BASIC because it's not like you just call a function. Everything has to take place within the line numbers. So we have a subroutine. Actually, we took out the subroutine because we couldn't get it working. So right now, you know, lines 10,000 to 10,080 all control the player movement, but really what we're going to do is have to make that a subroutine, and then we're going to have another subroutine for everything, and then but all of them have to take place within a sequence of linear line numbers. So there's so much jumping around from line number to line number to line number to line number, and that is what's different. One of the things that's different about this language versus modern programming languages. Let's run it. Let's remind ourselves, you know, let's pat ourselves on the back here. So we've got our virtual Socrates moving around the map. And we've got the zeros are our debugging code, so we're on map location 0, 0. And if we go up, we got map location 0, 1. And if we go to the right, we should have 1, 1, 1, 1. And this just goes on forever. There's no boundaries on the map yet. So we'll have to... What's that?
Let's go.
Yeah.
I said that it's just like a limitless thing that we made. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of...
Yeah, but a very large... I think you'll find we could go, as it is right now, it's just a counter. It can go up and up and up and up, whatever the maximum value is. I mean, I'm sure in the documentation it says what a maximum value for a variable is. I'm actually curious. Let's take a look. At the risk of going really slow, I'm just curious what, like, as it is right now, what...
Yeah, what our border is.
Well, it's huge. It's going to be massive. Yeah, I mean, more... Let's see. Where does it talk about variables? I'm not sure it even mentions what the max value is. Quite large. I mean, it does scientific notation, so we're talking, you know, massive. So, you know, as it is right now, you could go on and on and on and on for days, and you'd never get to the max. You know, doesn't matter. So you want to try to draw a room border.
Yeah.
On the start screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to make it to where you can only go down.
I'm torn between continuing to write the program in the editor here and switch to a modern code editor so we can write it and then paste it in here and run it, which works. Would be easier to understand the structure of the whole program if we did that. In fact, do I have a code editor installed here? Let's see here. I thought I did. Maybe not. It might be on my other computer. may not. I don't have that much installed on this computer. Other. I can. Oop, shit. I need to launch a program. I think I don't. I think I'll probably have to install one on here. That's okay. Let's just work on them. We can always worry about this in a little bit. Let's just see if we can make a border happen here. So let's see. The movement is happening at line 10,000. We need to add some variables. So let me just list the first. First little part of the program here. So I think what we can do, we can probably just have, because you're only going to be on one screen at a time, and what we need to know is whether there's a border on that screen and what kind it is. So what I'm thinking is that we have a variable called map border, and that could be a numeric variable that's either 0, which means no border, 1, 2, 3, or 4 for the 4 different borders for the different entry points into the room. And then we can just write a little code that says if it's 0, then draw this type of border. If it's 1, then draw this type of border, so on and so forth.
Yeah, okay.
That would be a very economical way to do that, I think. And then just call that every time you change rooms, you just draw the border.
Okay.
But we have to make sure, so that's one thing. Drawing the border is one thing. Making sure you can't walk through a border is another.
Yes.
So that's two different challenges in the same project. Let's get it drawing a border first, and then we can worry about not walking through a wall secondarily.
Okay.
So let's see. We're going to need some variables, right? So right now we've got the map x and the map y. I think we can probably build that into the same line, trying to be really economical here. So boom. Let's say map border, and since it's going to start out on, and then it'll be interesting because we're going to basically have some. Again, I'm not sure the most economical way to do this in TI in extended basic, but when you enter a room, we're basically going to have to say, if room coordinates are this, then border equals blah blah blah. If room coordinates are this, then room border equals blah 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 blah. So it's actually going to be quite a bit of code just to set the room border for each. Maybe there's a better way to do it. Maybe with an array. I'll have to think about that some more. But for now, let's just say map border equals. We'll set it to 1 for now, because the starting screen is going to be interior, right? We decided.
Yeah.
And then we're going to leave that from the bottom. So let's call that border 1.
I have a question.
Sure.
So the idea is that map border 0 would be outside.
Yes.
So you're outside, so there's no border.
Right.
How would we then, if you're, would it be a whole nother map border number to have like doors to go into a room? Like if you're somewhere where it's going to be like to go.
Ooh,
inside.
yeah, that's a good question. Like,
So I was imagining like maybe there's like 2 to 4 doors on a single screen, so you can go into different houses, like you're walking down a street, and like you got your neighbors, and you can see multiple houses. But maybe it needs to be.
I guess I was thinking something a little more like this, where like you're this little square, and you can go left, you can go right. Oh, maybe we do need borders like this. So yeah, this could be like going into a house right here.
Exactly, that's what I was imagining too, and I was imagining 1 or 2 doors on each. Yeah, whenever you're like in the neighborhood, you could go into like 1 or 2 rooms. Maybe there just needs to be 1 room per screen, and you can either. But those would be different borders there. Then those would be different map borders.
I guess I was thinking that the exterior locations wouldn't have borders.
Yeah, but they would need some sort of borders like this the way we're doing it, right? For the doors to exist.
So you mean to go into a house?
Yeah, to go into a house or to go into a temple or to go into the court.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe we just do it kind of adventure style like this, where, yeah, okay, let me think, because it could be. Okay, so we've got a screen here and it's got four sides. What are the different options? One option is that it's open, like completely like it is here, so you can just go west. One is that it's blocked off, so you can't go that direction. Or there's a doorway to another room, to an interior location.
Yeah.
So there are three possible options for any given side: open, closed, or doorway.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's more variables, but I don't think that's a problem. I like that better because I like the aesthetic of the old adventure game. It's one of my sort of Gestalt shift inspirations for the aesthetic, and it's finite enough where I think it's doable. So, okay, yeah, let's back up then. Let's go over to TI basics. So rather than just map border, we're going to need a variable for each side. What kind of border do we have? Right?
Yeah.
So that means we're going to have something like left border equals something. We'll just set them to 0 for now. Right border.
Like L border and R border. And
agreed. Yeah, I like it.
Like top and bottom T and B, L and R and T and B. Something like that.
How about up, down, left, right?
Oh yeah, up, down, left, right. Yeah.
Up border.
Border
Equals 0. We'll change the numbers here in a minute.
Yeah.
Down border equals 0. Left border equals 0. Right border equals 0. Always want to run it to make sure I haven't messed anything up. None of that should affect anything. We're not using those variables for anything yet. Okay. Okay. So we need to, let me think. I'm going to list out the whole program again here. So what happens when we, so this bit of code from line 10,000 to 1080 is doing two things. It's moving you, but it's also iterating the map variables if you reach a screen edge. So I think what we need to do is probably create a subroutine for drawing the map border, and then every time we change the map location, right here where we have map x and equals map x plus 1, any of those kinds of statements, in addition to doing that, we need to do the subroutine. But then actually we don't redraw the sprite location until we get down here to line 10,070. So probably right here, right after, either before or after we redraw the sprite itself, it doesn't really matter, we need to actually draw the map border. Every time we change screens, we need to redraw the map border.
Mm-hmm.
Sound right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's create a subroutine. And again, I worry about I probably need to start being more structured about where these subroutines lie in terms of line numbers. But that's why I want to probably get out of this and move into a code editor, so we can more fluidly make changes like that. But let's do it at 11,000. Draw screen border, or draw borders. Okay, now let me think. Yeah, it's okay. Zero. Hmm.
Okay, my love. I'm gonna run to the store and
What?
go get what we need for dinner.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can go with you. I don't have to be working on this.
No, do your thing.
Okay.
You're in your zone.
Trying to be. I love you.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, I love you.
Sometimes it feels like an enormous waste of time. So, you know.
Not at all, my love, because we love it. So how
do,
is that
sure.
a waste of time?
I was thinking, you want to add anything else to the?
Oh, you said a jalapeno.
Yeah, your jalapeno.
Okay, I'll put a. I think for now, let's do it this way with the added jalapeno, and then we'll.
Without a jalapeno.
No, we'll do it with. Yeah.
Let's do it.
We'll do it just with this, with the jalapeno, and then after we
Maybe
have
two
it.
jalapenos since it's a pretty big sheet pan.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Then after we have it the first time, then I think it'll be good. We can add more things.
Yeah, so it says a pound, so I don't know if that's 1 or 2 packs of the little andouille sausage, but
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Whatever you want.
And then I'm just gonna get red potatoes.
That sounds good.
Okay. And I didn't put the green beans.
Oh, yeah, need green beans, yeah.
How much?
It's just 12 ounces, so.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just a, little chunk of fresh green beans,
Yeah. I might get it already in the bag.
Yeah.
Not frozen, but fresh.
Yeah, fresh ones. The frozen ones, fresh ones.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you.
I love you.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll see you in just a little bit.
Okay, Mom,
I love you. Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So, again, it's now that I'm thinking through the details of this, I like where we're going with it. But one thing I notice about the adventure screenshots is there's never an open bottom or top border. The left and right are open, but the top and bottom are always with a little doorway here. And so, I guess the question is, do we want, like, say, so what you'd never see in the game Adventure, you'd never see an open left and an open bottom at the same time. Which I don't think there's any problem doing. We just need to, but you'll notice one thing that's weird here, like we have an open left but a closed bottom. The closed bottom overwrites the open left. The bottom left corner here is drawn.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So that's how they solved that problem. Is just they just laid down the rule, like, the top and bottom doorways look like this, and left and right doorways look like that. And we don't have to do it that way. We just need to decide how we want to do it, you know.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of maybe it being different than that, not just where it feels like you can only go left and right.
Mm-hmm.
The screens, you feel like you can go down or you can go up more.
Sure. So let's just kind of envision this now. But let's say the left is closed off, but the bottom is open. Is this corner filled in or not?
Yes.
Right. So when we draw the borders, because we can't just even if there's a blank, we have to redraw the border because there might already have been a border there from the previous screen. So we have to basically draw a blank border. So, but what we're gonna say then is that drawing a filled-in border overrides the blank border on the adjacent screen, which is what we have here. We have a blank border on the left, but this overrides that.
Yeah. Yeah, because you wanted to draw that and fill that in, so there's not a weird gap there.
Right. Otherwise, there'd be a weird gap there. Exactly.
Yeah. Unless we find in our game that maybe we're like, oh well, it kind of makes it look like you're gonna be able to go left there, but no, I think it's better to not do that.
So we could think, how many possible combinations are there? Right. There's 4 sides, each of which has 3 possible borders. That's only 12 possible combinations. I'm tempted just to, rather than doing weird if-then statements, I'm tempted just to enumerate them and go, if room type equals this, then draw this. If room type equals this, then draw that.
Okay. Yeah, and then we draw out the different rooms first, so we kind of know.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a piece of paper. Well, I guess I could do it on our. Can I draw here? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here's our screen.
Nice.
And so let's say room type 0 is just open on all sides.
Okay.
And then we come over here, room type 1, completely unscientifically here. There would be. All right, I love you. So a doorway here, but a border around all the rest. It's just so boom. Right?
Yes.
Two. Three. Right?
And then one on the right.
Oh no, it's going to be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. No, that's too many to do. It's going to be, right, because each one has 3 possible combinations. So it's going to be 3 to the 4th power. Which is how many? Yeah. That's too many to do.
Yeah, because you can have.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work. I thought I was going to like that idea, but I don't.
I was thinking more combos than it sounded like.
Yep, so that's not going to work. So we need to.
If we could make it to where, if we can figure out walking through walls, even if it's if it's green, you can't go through it or something. Like if we could figure out some way to not walk through walls, that might solve this issue.
Well, we still need to draw the borders no matter what, so.
But then all the borders could kind of just be open, and if there's a wall there, you wouldn't be able to walk through it, even if the border is open.
Sure, but that's why I think there are 2 problems. One problem is not walking through the borders, and the other problem is drawing the borders in the first place. So we need a way of. Let me think. Yeah, we need to draw. Oh man, I don't know. I'm having trouble thinking through this. So, if we're going to draw all 4 borders, boom, top, up, down, left, right, because each of which is going to be controlled separately. Like we're going to have to do it in. I'm trying to think of a sequence of drawing them where it solves that weird gap problem reliably. It's the problem I'm trying to think through. So let's say I start out by, I start out, I have to pick a side. Let's say I start drawing the left border. And let's say that border is going to be solid. You can't go left. And I draw the top border and I draw the right border and I come down here and I draw the bottom border. If it's solid or a door, no problem, because we're going to get the overlap here of the two borders. If it's open though, now I'm going to overwrite my solid door I just drew in this bottom left corner, or solid wall, which we don't want.
Correct. Yeah, we'd want that to be. We want the drawn wall to take priority over the not drawn wall.
So that means we'd have to check to see whether the adjacent ones are blank or not. Oh man, what a rat's nest of a problem already. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's why I actually didn't even. I sort of didn't think we would have exterior borders on the exterior locations. That only on the interior locations with a single doorway in or out. Because it's not like you're in a room when you're outdoors. Why do we need a border?
Yeah. You need some sort of way to go inside of the building.
Well, that could be. It could be any given screen. There's only one room you can enter on any given screen. We could design the map so on any given screen, when you're outdoors, there's only one interior location you go into. Only one border with only one doorway. And all the other directions are open.
Okay, yeah, so like every screen that you're outside, there's basically you walk to a new screen and there's like one building you can enter.
Yes.
Like one door. And other than that, the map is basically clear.
So let's erase this stuff. So yeah, so let's just sketch it out here real quick. No sense coding it before we have some sense of what we're doing. So this, let me erase this. How do I change colors here? See a way to change colors here?
Maybe the bottom green circle. What's that green circle?
No, it's just like a marker.
Right click on the green circle. Oh.
Nope.
No.
So weird.
Good color.
Okay, well, use your imagination. So here's our screen. And there are no borders as of right now. So this is just an invisible border, even though it's in bold green here. And let's say we want to go into a building. What if we have a border that looks like this? This is filled in right here, and this is filled in right here.
Yeah.
So open on 3 sides. You can go left, you can go down, you can go right, or you can go inside. Would that look weird?
I don't think necessarily, but if that was the only room, it might. Because if you go down, what is the room?
Well, it's not a room. It's just the next screen on the map.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I mean though. Like, what would that placement on the map look like? Would that be like the opposite of that? Like, there's just a door open on just the bottom, but the top and the 2 sides are open still, and that's like your street.
Well, I think you're thinking a little too literally. There aren't really streets, just locations. So what I envisioned was like maybe, again, maybe let me draw this here. Say this was in front of so and so's house, and again, I'm just making shit up right now. Let's say we're in the Acropolis right now. It's hard to write with the mouse. So maybe we have a little arrow here that says, temple somewhere. So into the temple. And then over here we have a little arrow that says to the theater. And maybe down here, this little arrow says, I don't know, to the residential area. Whatever, I'm just making this up. And over here, this would be like, I don't know, to the agora. It's kind of busy, isn't it? And you're this little square. And so now you can go into the temple, or you can go elsewhere, or elsewhere, or elsewhere.
Okay. What does it look like, though, if you went down from here? Would there still be something across the top, or now you're...
Oh, to the next screen?
Yeah, if you went to the next screen going down.
Yeah, I guess there would be, let's draw it. So the next screen down, right here. Oops, shit. Let me do this a little better. Would be something like, so again, this is, even though there's a border here, there'd be no borders here. But let's say maybe, down here, now you're in the residential area, and over here, there might be a doorway to go into someone's house. Oh, hold on. Susan's calling. Hey, my love.
Hi, my love. I'm sorry. I know you're working on your
What's
things,
up?
But I know it said we need a pound of the andouille sausage, but they're all only 12 ounces.
Oh, just get two of them.
Okay.
We'll use them for something.
Now, should I get the uncured or the Johnsonville that I think it's, I don't...
Well, you want the ones that are already cooked, first of all.
Full one.
Are you in the raw meat section, or are you in the packaged meat section?
They're both fully cooked.
Okay, so yeah, whichever one you want. They're both andouille sausage?
They're andouille uncured sausage, and then they have a smoked sausage.
What about that other brand that sells the all the interesting flavors and stuff? Don't they have an andouille sausage? I think I forget the name of the brand.
Adele?
Maybe. Hold on.
I don't. No, I don't think they have an andouille. No, I don't think they.
Oh, Adele's, yeah. I mean, I know they have a Cajun style andouille, but they may not have it there. Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, in that case, whichever one you think looks yummiest. Yeah, I don't really care.
Okay. Well, I'll get the one that's cheap, but they both look good. So I'll get the one that's cheap.
That sounds like a plan.
Okay, Mila, thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
Okay, see you in a little bit.
See you in a little bit. I love you.
Love you too.
Bye, Mila.
Bye, my love.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so what I'm thinking, what you just showed me is that we have 4 rooms for inside and then 4 screens for outside, basically.
yes, I think that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, outside has 3 open borders and 1 wall with a door, and inside have 3 closed borders and 1 wall with a door.
And then we could stipulate that on any given exterior location, there's only one interior you can enter on that screen. And just build the map accordingly.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it'll look stupid. Do you think this will look stupid on an outdoor with no border, and then all of a sudden, boom, you've got a border over here. I don't know.
No, I think it depends on how we do our signs. Like if there are actually, maybe there's no signs to tell you where anything's at, but as you keep going, you unlock like a mini map or something that you can look at that helps you remember like the areas, and that's where it's kind of labeled. And other than that, you're just kind of exploring, and it's just like open, and you can go in and out of doors. Maybe some doors are shut until you reach the right.
Yeah, I mean, we could have. I mean, rather than having. Let me think. I don't know. Rather than having. I mean, I like the idea of these little signposts. They're just going to take up a lot of room on the screen, but, you know.
It's like something you have to interact with. Like there's a little sign, but you can't read it. You have to go up to it and click on it, and then there's like
Yeah, there's no clicking in the game. there was no mouse on that system.
Oh, so you can't. Well, how do you interact with things? You can only move in directions. You can't.
We're gonna have to come up with something.
How do we even initiate dialogue?
Probably by proximity. When you get close enough to a character, it just auto starts the dialogue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's how the signs would work too then.
Yes.
If you walk up close to a sign, then the word for wherever that direction is, and then maybe an arrow too pops up at the bottom of the screen or somewhere.
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking that these little arrows and these labels would just be on the screen all the time on any given screen, but that might be a little busy.
Yeah, it might be a little busy. With everything else being kind of abstract and simple, it might feel busy to have.
You're right.
But if there was just a little sign and there was just 4 of those signs on the screen and you could walk up near the sign and then a word appeared, it would feel a lot less busy, I think.
Agreed. If we can figure out how to do that, yeah. That's going to be my response to everything. Yeah, if we can figure that out.
Yeah, I didn't. Couldn't click. Yeah, because you'll need to somehow interact with people too. We need to interact with
right.
Some way. So whenever we do the dialogue with people, we could probably mimic that for signs.
So I guess the question is, do we need 2 variables then, interior border type and exterior border type?
I think so. I think it might be easier to just differentiate them from the get-go.
Well, what I like about what we just talked about is that we can have 2 variables. You know, it could just be exterior room type and interior room type. 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. You know, 0 is no borders anywhere. 1 would for the exterior, and then type 1 would be a border, an entryway on the left. Well, actually, no, it would be because we might need borders for the entire map, right? You know, the map can't go on forever, so we're going to have a perimeter around the entire, or not even if maybe not around the entire thing. It's not a. It's going to be more like a Medusa-shaped map with endpoints, but there are going to be places you just can't go any. You can't go any further north or any further west, so we're going to have solid borders sometimes.
Yeah, those might be easier to put in later if we can add those later, but from the same mold as the rest of the exterior or something. Or however you want to maybe handle that. Because it'll be easier once we actually hit the edge of the map and be like, okay, you can't go any farther left here, but there's a door to your right or something.
I'm still kind of going back and forth between whether we want borders on the exterior screens or not. It also doesn't have. Okay, maybe we're thinking a little too chunky. You know, it could be that we don't draw a border here. We draw something like, here's our screen. No borders, but over here we just draw a little doorway, like a little something to indicate you can go that way, like a.
If you went above or below that, you would just go to the next screen or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You're right. I don't know. But the next screen would be the room, so we can't, right? So if this is a doorway to a room, the next screen would be the room.
But yeah, even if you miss the
So
doorway,
you can't have them going that way. No.
yeah.
So yeah, no. This is the way to do it. So not that.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of potentiality with that method. We just need to figure out the outskirts of the town, like where the doors would be, but that would be easier once we're deeper into it, I think.
Well, it could be that. I mean, maybe. Again, these aren't really organized screenshots here, but here's, say we're in a top left portion of the map, for example, and you can't go north and you can't go west. Oh, and yeah, see now not every screen would have these, but maybe if you can't go north and you can't go west, these are blocked off. Borders here, here. But that clearly indicates you can go east and you can go south.
Yeah, you could probably make the four corners like that from the get-go. We'll need the four corners, and there probably won't be a door on your other sides of the four corners.
But I mean, in a way, it doesn't really solve the problem because, I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to think of an efficient way to do this, and there probably isn't one. Like, so, say
there's no doors.
What's that?
Maybe on the edges there's no doors. Like there's no buildings to go into. So whenever you hit the edges of town, there's either a corner or there's just a wall on one side, one of the four sides, and the other three sides are open.
That's what I envisioned. But the problem, because we have to this doesn't refresh 30 times a second, so we have to. Every time we enter a room, we're going to have to draw the screen background, including the borders. So if we were previously on a screen that had a border or a doorway, and now we're on a different screen that doesn't have a border or a doorway, say on the right-hand side here, we need to first of all erase anything on the right, and then redraw. And maybe that's it. Okay, I just figured it out. We actually, rather than drawing all the borders, we erase all the borders first, and then redraw any new borders that need to be there. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to be too efficient. Anytime we enter a room, we erase all the screen borders and then we redraw the new ones. Problem solved.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I just figured it out. So simple. Okay.
Oh yeah. Whatever room it's in, draw that one.
Okay. So let's erase that line. And let's get back to line 20. I changed my mind about what I want to do here. I want to erase some of this. We're going to have a separate line for the interior and the exterior ones. Okay, so list 10 to 10,000. So let's have line 25. We could renumber everything when we get that far. So line 25. Let's just get some variables down. So we need a way of distinguishing whether you're in an interior location or an exterior location, first of all. So location type. And we're going to start out interior. So let's make that's either 1 or 0.
Okay.
Okay, then let's do 26. Actually, you know what? Hold on here. because there's a maximum line length limit, I do want to keep these kind of shorter. We're going to start at interior. So it's either one or zero, either interior or an exterior, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so
What are options?
26. And maybe we'll come up with others, like if you're on a boat or something. I don't know. But well, to be determined. So let's see. Interior border equals, and we're going to start out with. So we said we're for any interior rooms, we're only going to have we're going to only have one exit, right? That makes sense, I think.
Yeah. 0 through 3.
Zero.
Or 1 through
0 through 4. No, there'll always be a doorway, right? So 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Oh, yeah, there's only 4 options if you're inside.
Right. Because there will always be borders. Exactly.
Always be in one door. You
Okay.
just go into a room and get trapped. It'd be kind of funny. Just have to turn off the game and never go back in that room.
So it gets clunkier with exteriors because
Yeah.
we
Like,
actually, you know what? I got it. We're gonna have two variables here: exterior door, like a doorway to an entrance.
Okay.
Just set that to 0 for now. 28. Exterior.
Border?
What's that?
Or like that. I just said border again for like the border of the town. Or
I mean,
island, I guess.
Well, because we might. I'm trying to think of a way to solve the problem of the boundary at the same time.
We did exterior corners, and we had one on the corners. You actually just draw both those walls at the same time, because only on the corners do you have 2 walls touching.
Right, but we might need a border just on the top if you can go left or go right still.
Yeah, but on those ones, you're only drawing 1 border.
Right. That's why I think it makes sense probably to go exterior left border equals 0. I'm already running out of room here. It's you see the downside of TI Basic. I can do this on. Actually, I can do it all on the same. I forgot I have the power to do this in exterior right border equals 0. Exterior ext top border equals 0, and ext bottom border equals 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think that's the maximum. Let's shorten these up.
You board instead of border.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
An L and R instead of left and right.
How about X board L equals 0? X board R equals 0. X board top, T for top,
Yeah.
equals 0. X board
E.
B equals 0. And then there we go.
That saved a lot of space, huh?
Right, so let's think this through. Interior border, that's going to be one of 4 types, 1 through 4. Exterior door is only going to be one door for any outdoor location, right? We're not going to have two doors on the same screen. So that's the same thing. What's that?
Can you do Can you do comments in this? Like we could do
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
Pico, and do like the 0 through 4 or however many.
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of. I think what you do is literally just do this. I think you then go like so.
Yeah, that might be easier.
Yeah, I think that's it. Just you have a maximum line length limit still.
Okay.
Which we did not have in Pico 8. So even the comments you want to keep short.
Okay.
So 27 exterior door. So this is going to be
0 through 3.
well, no, because it's which one has a door. So it's either no doors, or there's a door on one of the 4 screens.
Yeah, so 5. So
0 through 4. And 28. We can just say something like, which walls have borders.
yeah, and those are just 0 or 1.
0 or 1, exactly. 0
Is the first
or
one 4, or is that 0 through 3?
1. Which one, sorry?
Interior border?
The interior border, that is where the door occurs. There will always be a door. So is it on door number 1, door number 2, door number 3, wall number 1, wall number 2, wall number 3, or wall number 4?
Oh, so we don't have to start with 0?
No, because we're never going to be stuck in a room with no doors, right?
Oh, okay. I just thought that the default was basically 0 when you were numbering things. Like 0 was.
I think it's totally arbitrary here because we're just going to have a bunch of if-then statements. Say if interior border equals 1, then draw this doorway over here. You know.
I like it.
Yeah, or if it's more like room type actually. We could start with 0. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. It's the only thing we're going to do is go, if it's this, then draw this. If it's this, then draw that. If it's this, then draw that.
Cool. Here's my question.
What's that?
I just said, cool, that answers my question.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I give good answers, you know. I'm kind of making this up as I go, you know.
That's creation. It's art. Love it.
Okay, so draw borders. Let's get the interior ones working first.
Yeah. That's where we're starting.
Okay, well, the very first thing we need to do is clear any borders that are already there, no matter what. Anytime we change room, we're redrawing all the borders, right?
Yeah. Clear screen, I guess. Clear screen and then draw borders.
Not clear the screen, I think. Well, do we want to clear the whole screen? I guess, I mean, that's the easy way to do it.
Yeah, probably. Just clear everything.
Clear the whole screen.
The only thing that's for sure staying is Socrates.
Yeah, but then this is going to be I think this is going to be a subroutine, and every time we change rooms, we're redrawing Socrates. So if we call this subroutine to draw the borders before we draw Socrates, that solves that problem.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that we don't need anything to stay on the screen necessarily.
I think call clear. I'm not 100% sure, but I think call clear clears the screen even of the sprite. But the sprite might stay because sprites are supposed to be autonomous. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, and we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah, test it.
Okay, so that'll clear any borders we've drawn on the screen. So that's cool. Okay. Shit, I already forget my variables here. This is why people used to have notebooks all the time. Let me list out my list 10 through 10,000. Location, loc type.
Yeah.
Actually, let me make a comment here. 0 for exterior and 1 for interior.
Nice. Yeah. That helps.
Okay, so let's draw the interior one first. If loc type, oh, you know, it's interesting is we'll have to change that when we change rooms. We'll have to figure out, you know.
Yeah, I'd have to change the loc type.
It will, yeah. So we'll have to say, you know, if it's one of these coordinates, then it's interior. If it's one of the other, otherwise it's exterior. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, if loc type equals 1, and oh shit, I should have written this down. List. I have a pen. Let me. Yeah, I'll just get a pen and a piece of paper.
Sticky note on the computer.
Well, I used to do that when I was at Apple. I had sticky notes all over my monitor with things I needed to remember all the time.
Yeah, I did that a lot in the Marine Corps when I was doing this
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. Constant. Yeah, the whole entire border of my computer was just sticky notes.
So int border equals, and this will be what, 1 through 4. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to look at the basic manual real quick. Hey, my love. So here's our screen. So what I was thinking was that, you know, we take some number of spaces here. I don't know how many. You know, let's see, I guess 12 and 13 are the middle of the screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Or is it 11, 12? No, 12 and 13, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So how wide do we want to make the door? 2 spaces is too small. 4 is too small. 6 feels about right.
Yeah, somewhere around 6 probably.
I think 6. Okay. Okay, if loc type equals 1 and int border equals 1, then call it's gonna be a little, so call VCHAR gives you a vertical line of characters.
Cool.
And we already defined character number 96 to be a square block. So call VCHAR 96. And I think it's row, column, and the number of vertical repetitions. So let's just start with the left-hand one. So arbitrarily, number 1 is on the left. So row 1, column 1, and we want how many repetitions now? Row 1, column 1. So we said we're going to have 6, make it 6 wide. So 1, 2, 3 will be open here, starting at the middle. 1, 2, 3 will be open, and then 1 through 9 here vertically are going to be solid. So 9 repetitions.
Nice. Okay.
But that's only the one half of the border.
Okay.
And so we need to do call VCHAR 96. I know now row number 16, right? So 13, 14, 15 are blank. 16. So 16, comma 1, row, column, and same thing, we want 9. And we started out by saying interior border is set to 1, right? Or did we not do
Yes.
that yet?
I think we did that. And location type is set to 1 too, yeah.
Interior border is 1.
Yeah, I think we have that set up correctly.
Okay. But we're going to make this a subroutine. So we need to say, let's give ourselves some wiggle room here. Return. And then when do we call this list? We need to call it right here. This is when we redraw the player sprite. So we want to. Oh wait, no, we can't do that. We don't want to. We don't want to draw the. We only want to redraw the borders when you change screens. We don't want to redraw it all the time.
Yeah, only when you change screens. We did some code to change screens.
Yeah, it's these four. It's the ones that end map y equals map y plus 1, map y equals map y minus 1.
Yeah. But yeah, you do want it to happen every time you change screens, though.
So what I'm thinking, let me list out the program again. I got to find the first instance of this here. I think after this, when we start our next session, let's get into a real code editor. I mean, as fun as it is to try to program like it's 1981, it's really slow, as you can see.
Yeah, you can't scroll up at all.
You can't. This does not have it doesn't work that way on this old system.
Yeah. Plus, you have to put in exactly what line number it's going to be on.
Exactly. That's why we need to sit down with some notes and just write down subroutines from these lines. This subroutine is on these lines, you know. Imagine doing this on punch cards now, back in the day in the 1970s. Right. You know. Yeah. So this was better than punch cards, but it's not as good as what we have now, for sure. Okay, so we've got map Y, map Y, map F. Okay, so we're starting on line 10,030. And so what we need to do is right here, as soon as we change the screen, we need to go to our subroutine that redraws the borders. Otherwise, we don't draw the borders, we just move the character. Right?
Yes.
So like right here, what we need to do is insert go sub, and it was at line 11,000. And pray to God this works. Oops. And I just erased line 10,040 because I'm an idiot.
Oh, what?
Oh, shit.
What was it?
It's all right, I'll figure it out. That's okay.
Yeah, it's so funny how it works like that. Oh, okay. It was one of those ones.
Yeah. What was the value though? It was like 184, so it was like 196 minus 8 or something, right?
Remember anymore.
Hold on. That's why. That's why I have 2 copies of it. $1040. 10,040. If sock row minus joist y is greater than 184, then sock row equals 1 and map y equals map y minus 1. Else sock row equals sock row minus joist y. Okay, let's not make that mistake again.
At least you had a backup. That was super handy.
Like I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Oop, work in progress in an official version.
Good idea.
I already did that from the very beginning. Okay, so 10,040. If sock row minus joist y is greater than 184, then sock row equals 1 and map y equals map y minus 1, else sock row equals sock
I'm
row.
gonna turn the TV on. Do you want me to close the door?
Yeah, I'll be done with this in just a little bit. And then
your
we'll
time.
work on dinner.
Take your time, Bella.
Yeah. I love you. Minus joist y. Okay, let's make sure it should still work. Nothing we did affected anything. Yeah, it's still working. Okay, so good. All right. Now, let's not do that again. We need to insert after we change the map right here. So insert colon, we need to say go subroutine at 11,000. So far, so good, I think, right?
Yeah.
Insert. Oops, 11,000.
need a space in between that too.
Oh yeah, it's not necessary actually. Oop. Every time I do something other than inserting it, there we go. It turns off the inserting, which is super annoying. Okay. Oh, okay, that's fine the way it is.
Yeah, I don't think you put the colons in on that last one.
Oh, you're right. So you'll be programming before you know it. Okay. Okay, so anytime we change borders now, we should change screens. I mean, we should go to the subroutine at line 11,000, clears the screen, and then if it's at a certain, if it's an interior and the interior border is set to 1, which they should be by default because we haven't done anything else. We set those to default, right? Actually, in loc type, we had loc type equal 1, right?
I think so. Probably doesn't hurt to check.
Yeah, let's just check real quick.
Yeah.
Yep, so loc type is 1. Okay, so now bad value in 1020 or 11. What's the bad value? It's been a while since I've written a program from scratch in BASIC, so let's go to the VCHAR listing here in the manual and see if I... Oh, row column character code. I had it backwards. Okay. I see what I did. The row column, then character code, then repetitions. Okay, so 1 1 96 9 1 1 96 9, and this will be row 16 column 1, so 16 1 96 and 9.
Nice.
Okay, so it hasn't drawn it from the beginning yet, but let's... Oh yeah, check it out.
Cool.
Except it looks so weird without the borders on the rest of the screens. It looks so weird.
Yeah, because it's not going all the way to the edges. So maybe we need to make it go up more and down more, if that's possible.
Yeah, it's not because it's not. Because it gives you there's this buffer area around the screen, because you got to remember back in the day these were on old CRT monitors, and you might not be able to see the entire CRT monitor based on the frame of your television. So they had this buffer to make sure you could see everything you physically put onto the screen. So there is no way to extend it to the end.
Okay, this is the buffer space.
It is. So now that I'm looking at it, I don't like it. So this is an example of a doorway with 3 open ways to the top, right, and left, and I don't like it. I thought I would like it. I don't. It looks stupid. But it's working.
Stretch it all the way to the top or the bottom. But that also can't stretch it all the way to the left. Always going to be a floating wall there.
This leads me to think we need borders around the exterior screens.
Oh, like what if there was just like we make our own artificial black border within the, like on the edge there, we just do a black border that's there on every screen always, and then do our borders within that. so that we can make them stretch to the edge of our own artificially created edge. We just do a black edge around the entire perimeter of the board. We would shrink our screen just a small amount, but we would be able to do a wall like this. Makes sense.
I don't mind shrinking the screen so much. So you're saying put a border around the whole screen, and then where there's a door, you want it to look like this, right? Just an open spot in the border.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually better than what I was. Well, I don't know. Actually, it might end up being similar to what we have now, because there would be walls that don't have.
But notice that now there's no distinction. If we do that, there's no distinction between an exterior border and an interior, but they're going to look exactly the same if we have a border on everything, which is fine. It doesn't bother me at all.
I wasn't thinking ever breaking that border. I was thinking like we just make our own border for the game, but then we make our game within that border, so you never break that border. So you wouldn't put a door in that border.
The problem is it's gonna look like a border. I mean, if there's a solid black border around the whole thing, it's not going to look like you can go through it.
Correct, and you shouldn't look like you can, I guess, all the way. But inside that border, you would have your walls there with the doorway. Then you would walk into a black wall?
What if we just bite the bullet on? Here, let me go back to my drawing thing here. What if we just bite the bullet on? On having borders on the exterior screen. So here's a screen, and every screen, interior or exterior, has a border. And we still need to make a distinction between interior and exterior, but we could do that with color. We don't have to do, we could have like soft little gray borders on the out exterior borders, and then on the interior borders they could be brown or something that implies you're in an interior location.
Okay.
What do you think? And so,
I don't see what the difference is yet so far.
Well, except now we would do this. So say this is an exterior location where you can go up or down, but not left or right. This would all be bordered. Boom, 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 boom. And then these would be open. Like that.
But they still wouldn't stretch to the edge of the
screen. No, nothing's going to stretch to the edge of the screen.
I see, yeah, because...
But the advantage would be this way it would look like it's open, like it looks here, even though it's inset a little bit. It's not blocked in any way, If we put a border around the whole thing, it's going to look like it's blocked, even if it's not.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of leaning now towards just biting the bullet on having exterior borders.
Yeah, happen to have borders on everywhere.
Yeah, and then we could make the distinction between interior and exterior through some other means. The exterior ones could be white or gray. Kind of blend in a little bit more. Like it's maybe white, like it's marble in ancient Athens or something, whatever. And then the interior ones could be colored, red or green or blue or yellow or whatever,
So when you're inside, you can't go through the borders, but when you're outside, you can go through.
No, that's not it at all. It's that you can't go through the borders even on the outside. You can only change rooms by going through the opening.
Oh, so there would just only be one opening.
Yep.
Or there would be three doors?
Yeah. So, so if if you can go any direction, there'd be 4 open doorways like you see on the left here, open ways to go. But you can only go through the doorways. You can't go through the borders.
Okay, so every wall is either a wall or a door. There's no open.
Right.
You only have walls and doors.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that could work. That could
It certainly work. I mean, it's a little heavier handed with the ink on the screen, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, it makes it feel like you're more inside all the time. But I think that if we did like a lighter color for the outside walls.
Yeah, exactly.
Do something.
I kind of like here. I'll show you an example. Give me 1 second. What's that? Shit, that's the name of it. Javatari. Yeah. Okay. Hold on here. Where do I find ROMs? Atari Mania. Here we go. Okay. So just give me a sec to pull something up here. Games R for Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is another one of my inspirations here. You'll see that I have a definite aesthetic theme, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because a lot of the same people worked on some of these things, you know.
Cool.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Here we go. Let me find the regular old. There we go. Play it. Okay. Click to unmute. Okay, so hold on here. Gotta remember how to do this. Okay. Oh, I gotta find the right. I don't remember the controls. What the hell? Where are the controls here? Hold on here. Where are the controls? How do I change the controls? Javatari. Controls. Okay, we're just going to have to figure it out. Okay. Why does it keep doing that?
Bottom right corner, is that a 7? Is that?
Oh, yep. Controllers, good call. This was a weird game that uses two joysticks to control it.
Whoa.
Okay, so up, down, left, right. A, T. Oh, A, T, F, H, and G. Okay, I think I got it. There we go.
Oh.
Hold on, I gotta remember the. Fire A. Okay, I think I got it. Nope. Ah, my God. That's so hard. I don't have this hooked up to a. Trying to use these weird keyboards. It's kind of like our game, trying to use the weird keyboard controls to control the damn thing. Why can't I? Oh, so okay. Well, here's a good example. Here's an exterior location. It's got borders, but they're gray. And these are snakes, and that's a rock.
Yeah.
And I can't seem to figure out how to use my. Oh, that's because I don't have the. I see. Wait, there's the whip. Okay, I forgot I had to. You have to select which item you're using. That's what the other controller's for. So now I should be able to fire. Yeah. So I'm Indiana Jones. I've got my whip, and I'm getting a snake with my whip. That's what's happening right now. And then I go down the screen, and all of a sudden, boom, you're in an interior location. Look, different color borders, objects, blah, 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 blah. And back outside.
Right into the sleep.
I don't know why I can't figure out which button gets you into the game. There we go. Okay, hold on here. Let me just show a couple things for contrast here. Okay, I gotta select the grenade. Now we come up here. Okay, I'm gonna plant the grenade. Down we go, and then we go back out. Okay, there's a hole in the wall.
Did not expect that.
Interior location. You're in an underground cavern here. Again, it doesn't really matter. I'm just showing the different screen options here. Now, here's another interior location. You're stuck in a little prison here. You got to blast your way out with your whip. You got to kind of like fight your way out. If I can figure out how to do that. So you can see everything's bordered, but the screen color is doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I think, there's some precedent for having, gray or white exterior walls for exterior locations and more colorful colors for interior locations.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that we can try to be clear on which one is a wall and which one is not. Or can you just walk through any of the walls?
Well, this game is kind of weird. Like, no, you can't walk this way through the wall. So that's why I like the open doorway approach rather than I like borders with doorways cut out of them, rather than solid borders around everything all the time, because that just doesn't imply you can go through them. But this is supposed to be a little more. This game is very how to put it. What's the word I'm looking for? It's opaque. It's not clear at all what to do. You have to figure out a lot of it as you go. So, in hidden doorways, and I think is the idea here. Like, there's nothing visually to indicate you can go through the wall on the right at a certain location. You just have to figure it out, which is annoying and cryptic. I don't want to be that annoying and cryptic.
Yeah, make it a little bit clearer. Like,
but I think if we put borders around the whole thing with insets cut out like this, people just know, oh, I can go left and I can go up and I can go right and I can go down, and so there are these weird borders in exterior locations, but they're white and it's ancient Greece, so it works.
Yeah, I think that could work at least as a start.
It could. But we need to rethink how we're doing this then.
Yeah. If we did like a light border around it so it didn't look dark, but then had darker borders within that border, and if it's a light border, that means you can walk through it, basically. It's like, then you're outside. There's still a border because we had to make kind of a makeshift border because they have it extended. But it's kind of how that other game you were just playing kind of looked like that. They always had a border within their border. Within that, yeah.
I mean, what if we just, we're going to run into...
You still need to make it where they can't walk through the border.
Right. So I think we need to figure out what the borders look like, and then we need to figure out how not to walk through them.
Yeah.
But I think... Let me think. I have an idea, because what we could do, actually, I gotta hit the restroom. Give me a second. I'm gonna hit the restroom, and I'll think more clearly in 60 seconds. Be right back. Are you there? The answer came to me while I was in the bathroom.
Perfect.
So I'm spending too much time trying to figure out how to draw the borders where. That's annoying. I think if we have borders around the whole thing all the time, all we need to do is then cut out the doors out of those borders.
Yes.
So every time we change rooms, let's start by drawing a solid border around the whole thing, and then all we need to do is say if there's a door in the top, we erase a section of that to draw, have the little invisible door. And that way none of the doors conflict with each other. We don't have to worry about what order we draw what. It'll be easy.
Okay. Yeah. And
So
there's just the changing of colors.
Yeah, and then we can worry about that. We can figure that out anytime. That's not too hard.
Perfect.
Okay, so let me see where we're at. List. Ooh, hello. What did I do? Okay, so we don't need. I guess we still might need the. We don't really need to know whether we're in interior or exterior. We just need to know what color we want any given room to be. So I actually think 25 can go away.
Yeah.
And 26 can go away.
Read between those things, yeah.
And 26 we're gonna do this much more elegantly. 28 can go away.
That's how you clear it. That's cool.
Yeah, I just type the line number. That's the danger of accidentally erasing a line. Oh shit,
Wow. Yeah, that seems like you could eat.
It's high risk. Yeah, it's very annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can see the evolution of coding environments and why they are the way they are, and
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Okay, so now let's list from 11,000. Okay. We still need to clear the screen, that's right. But now let's get rid of 1120. Okay. So let's draw a border around the whole thing first. Okay. So we'll do call, doesn't really matter, HCHAR. That's to draw a horizontal row of characters. We're going to do row column 96, and we're going to have 32 spaces across. Do the same thing at the bottom. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we're going to use more line numbers, but I hate having to edit a whole line like that. It's just, if we start to run out of lines, we'll start combining stuff. So row is going to be 24, column 1, character number 96, and same thing, 32 repetitions. Call VCHAR, vertical row of characters. Now we want 1, 1, 96, and this time we want 24 repetitions. So row number 1, column number 24, 96. Oh no, column 32, excuse me, and 24 vertical repetitions. So now, unless I broke something, and it's not calling it from the beginning yet, but yeah, there's our border.
Wow, cool.
So now all we need to do, and that came on the screen pretty quickly. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Oop. All we need to do is figure out we're still going to need variables to tell you which walls have doors. So we're going to need a few variables after line 20. So line 25, let's say left door equals 0 or 1. Right door equals 0 or 1. Top door equals 0 or 1. And 28, bottom door equals, and let's just put 1 on there so we can see it and see if it's working. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can say if let's just do the bottom one first, since we know where that's going to go. We just turned it on. Okay, if bottom door equals 1, then call HCHAR. Let's look at our screen map here. Okay, VCHAR. So what's the middle? We have 32. So it's 1 through 16 and then 17 through 32, right? That sounds right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so 1 through 16. So, and we're going to make it 6 wide like before.
Yep.
So let's say, so 16, 15, and 13 are all going to be blank. Actually, so 13 through 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. No. 14, 15, and 16. Okay, I got it. Okay, row 24. Column, so 14, that's going to be, yep. Now we need to find the character code for a space here. A blank character. Let me find the character codes here. Where's the space? 32 is a space. Even where there's nothing on the screen, there's spaces there. So each character slot on the screen has a value, and if it's blank, then it's a space. It's a 32. So we're gonna set it back to blank. And 6. That should do it, I think. So let's change screens, and we should have a doorway on the bottom when we draw the borders now. Boom! Check it out.
Nice.
That worked pretty well, actually.
It did.
I can totally live with this.
Yeah, how do we get it to be on the first screen?
So right now we're only calling this subroutine when we change screens. We just need to call the subroutine from the very beginning before we draw the first sprite.
Ah, okay.
Oh, hey, someone's watching. Hey, Ivalon. I'm not sure how to say your name. Oh, you love, yeah, well, I love Basic too. We're making this retro open world educational adventure game based on the life and conversations of Socrates in TI Basic for the Texas Instruments TI-99 4A home computer. I love Basic too. I grew up with it, so it's fun to be making an open world game inside TI Basic, extended Basic. Let's make it so it draws those borders from the very beginning.
Yeah, cool.
And, we're going to have to rewrite some of this. I don't want to get too far in. I do want to, at some point, I'm going to shift to using a regular code editor. So we call the sprite on line 50 for the first time. So I think all we need to do is at line 45, we just say go sub 11,000. And now, there it is from the beginning.
Oh, cool.
And so, again, nothing's working as expected because we can walk through the walls, and there's nothing to tell it you can't walk through the walls yet.
Cool,
But let's get it working in the other 4 directions as well.
cool,
And then we'll worry about not walking through walls next time. I don't think we're going to solve that problem today. But I think I know how I'm going to do it. So I'm almost certain I know how to do that now. Yeah, this is so much fun. I'm glad someone who loves BASIC is tuning in, and then hope you enjoy our. This is going to be we're not going to make this game in a day. This is going to take a few months to finish this game, but hey, we're coming along though. We got borders and everything now. Check it out. I mean,
yeah. Character moving around.
but you can see it's actually, even though there's different constraints than when we were doing Frieza's Fury and Pico 8, it's actually a little easier to get shit to happen on the screen in these old languages than in modern languages.
Yeah.
So it's a trade-off.
Yeah, and I'm liking the aesthetic so far.
Okay, so if top door equals 1, then, and we'll change the colors of the border here in a minute so it's not so ugly. If top door equals 1, then call HCHAR. Okay, so this is row and column, so we're at row 1, column 14, character 32, and 6 repetitions. And so what I'm going to do real quick is let's turn the top door on so we can check our work. There we go.
Cool.
I like it. I can totally live with the borders.
Yeah, I like this.
In fact, let's turn them all on so we can see. Let's check our work here, and then we can turn off the ones we don't want from the beginning. Okay, so left door is 25. Let's turn it to 1. And 26. Let's turn that to 1. Okay, now you can see how many lines of code it eats up just to do something really simple. So, I think the key is, let's space it all out while we're working on it. Then as needed, we can rewrite the line numbers and consolidate the code. It's not as simple as inserting lines. You got to redo the line numbers in a lot of cases,
Yeah.
So it's good that programming languages went away from line numbers in the not too distant future after BASIC was a thing. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of wild to have to predict it basically.
mm-hmm. Gives you a respect for complicated old programs,
Yeah.
Okay, if left door equals 1, then, and we're going to do a vertical string of spaces this time, so call VCHAR. And let's go back and look at our map of characters here. Okay, so we want it to be 6 wide, so 12 and 13 are the middlemost ones, so 10, 11, and 12, so 10 and beyond.
Yes.
Okay, so row 10, column 1, character number 32, and 6 repetitions. And let's just do the other one while we're at it. 11090, if right door equals 1, then call VCHAR. Okay, so row 10, column number 32, character 32, and 6 repetitions. And this, we should have doors all the way around now.
Nice. There they are.
I can totally live with that. It looks pretty good. You know, it's like reinventing the wheel, but I can totally live with it.
Yeah, I like it.
And so again, you can walk through the walls right now, but at least it's keeping track of the, and you know, it's going to redraw them. It's going to, you know, it's going to look like that every time, which is kind of annoying, but I don't see another way around it. I can deal with the screen flickering when you change the room.
Yeah, it feels like a transition.
Yeah, it happens quickly enough to where it's not annoying, I think. I think, if memory serves, I think VCHAR is faster than HCHAR or vice versa. One of them is faster than the other for some reason, based on the way it processes it behind the scenes. This version of BASIC is an interpreted language. It basically is running in the video memory, and so when it runs, it translates that into machine language and then runs it. So it's actually, in terms of basic languages, this is a very, very slow version of BASIC, even compared to similar things in other versions of BASIC in other systems. All right, let's change the screen. Let's change the color of those borders. Those are ugly. It's bugging me. So let's go to the call. Again, I keep having to look at the manual, even though I used to do this when I was a kid. It's been so long. I got to just, you know, look it up every time, make sure to stay on the rails here. So let's go to the color subroutine. It'll come back to me, you know. Okay, so character number 32 is in set number 1. So let's list out the first part of our code here. So before we draw those borders, let's get some, let's just do line 15, call color, and it is, oh, sprite number, oh yeah, okay, we're doing character set. You can put a number in front of it, then it changes to the sprite number. We don't want to do that. I think the character set and the sprite number, even though they're both using character number 96, I think they're already working independently. They're both character number 96, and one is white as one is black. So our sprite is using character number 96 as well, but it's the color of the sprite is being defined by the call sprite command, not by the call color command. So I think this is going to work. Let's try white and see how we like it. So character set number 1, foreground color, which will be 16, and then a transparent for the background, even though it's not going to matter because it's a solid. This should make the background, the borders white, I believe. Nope, that didn't work. What happened here? Why didn't that work? Oh, because it's character number 96. Yeah, not 32. 32 is the space. Yeah. But then why were... sorry, just thinking. I know what I did wrong. Okay. What are we on? Line number 15. We need character number 96, which is in group 9. So group 9. That should fix the problem.
Nice.
That's pretty innocuous. I can live with that, you know?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, what happens if we make it gray? Last time we found that the gray looked pink on the blue background.
But with that much gray.
Ugh, I don't like that. I want to like it, but I just don't.
Yeah, I like it. Can we change the blue to something else?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can change the screen color to anything. You know, not anything. Got 15 colors to choose from. But what are your thoughts?
Black.
Oh, just black.
Yeah.
Sure.
Colorful borders and then. colorful.
I don't tend to like black screens. One of the things you'll notice about a lot of games on the TI is that a lot of other systems had black backgrounds, and a lot of TI programs did not. They used more colorful backgrounds. I don't know why. It's just this was such a colorful system. I think people just black and white rooms like the TRS-80. Yeah, right. If it's just a black background, it looks like you're on a TRS-80, not on a TI. This is a colorful system, so people tended to use a lot of color.
We could try going one color at a time because I haven't seen all the colors. So
oh yeah. You want to check them out?
Or, yeah, we could just go one at a time.
Let's add line 12. Call screen.
Grasp colors there are.
So let me do a couple things here. Actually, let me call screen. This will be black, but let me change line 15, and let's change this back to white borders here. Okay, so this will be on a black border now, or black background.
Okay.
Very like Ivalon here says, it looks like you're on a TRS-80 Tandy computer. It's cool though. I mean, it's simple looking. I like the look of it. I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so what line? Well, I forget what line number we used. I already forget here. 12. Okay. Okay, so let's call screen. See, these are not going to be in any logical order. It has to do with, I think they were arbitrary choices that affected how it worked on the machine code. So call screen number 3.
Yeah, let's try to remember. This one, it looks like a soccer field.
It does, yes. It'd be great for a sports game, not so great for an ancient Greece game.
Not just Socrates.
Lighter green.
I do like that green.
Yeah, there's 3. I think there's 3 different colors of green.
Cool.
5, I think, is a blue, if memory serves, a bluish color, purpley blue.
Oh, nice.
I like it, but not for ancient Greece, you know.
Yeah, so far I'm liking the blue. This blue the best.
I am leaning towards having blue, but you know, let's check them all out. You never know, right?
Yeah.
Could be white with colored borders would be okay too. You know, it's just.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe gray. But no, I like this blue so far.
This is another kind of blue, I believe, lighter blue. Kind of looks a little purpley on this monitor, but on the computer system, looked a little more blue. We're on an emulator. Okay. Okay, 7 I think is a kind of reddish color, I think. It's different than the Pico 8 colors, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So 8 is cyan. That's the blue. You've seen that. So let's go to 9. Yet another color of red. It's like light, medium, and dark red, I think is how they called it. Okay. I forget what color 10 is. Oop. Oh, another red, pinkish red. You'll find that the nice looking color choices are a little limited. The palette isn't the palette is not as well thought out as it was in Pico 8. So that's kind of a yellowy color.
Yeah, mustardy.
Yeah, and I think if memory serves, 12 is another yellow, like a lighter yellow, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
13 is a dark green, if memory serves. I was like funny when I used to write programs. This was my default color palette. I would use a dark green screen with white letters. I thought it looked cool when I was a kid. So I was just writing any old random, even a simple program in BASIC. This is what I would use.
Oh, I love that. I love green.
Then 14 is magenta. And 15 is gray. which I almost never used back in the day. Well, that's not too bad though.
Yeah.
Picture with non-playing characters. If our non-playing characters are little colored squares, like a little green square and a little red square, little dots of color on there as well. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I like the gray and white.
Yeah, I could live with that.
In the inside, when you go inside rooms, maybe the whole background changes to something colorful, but when you're outside, the whole background is gray.
Yeah, I agree. Something like that. Do you want to try white background with a colored border?
We need to change the border.
So what color do you want to try the? So let's make the screen white and
flop it.
Gray. Yeah, sure. Oh, we're not going to see our sprite though, because our sprite. But you get the idea.
Yeah.
That's not too bad either, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one I like more.
I'm not either. Let's try, just out of curiosity here. So like in an interior room could be,
Yeah.
Yeah, we could mess with the color of the interior room, sure.
Yeah.
So
maybe like courthouses have one color and like gyms have like wrestling rooms have one color.
yeah, exactly. I like it. Yeah, I like it. Do you like the gray background with the white or the white background with the gray?
Couldn't tell. I thought the white was gonna be more like distracting, but I didn't feel that distracting.
I'll just show them to you back to back here real quick. So this is gray on white. Can't see our sprite.
Yeah. He would probably turn gray.
Yeah, exactly. I think I like this just a tad better.
Yeah, I think that this gives more of like a marble or granite or like stone.
Yeah, because then you could draw white marble structures. If you're going to do the artwork for little temples and things, little dotted around the room here, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it'll look more Greek with white on a gray than gray on white.
Yeah.
It's got to look Greek.
Gray on white more. But I definitely like that blue background too in some rooms.
Yeah, I do too.
Or something.
Pretty good work. I mean, it's nice. We have a map system with coordinates. We've got screen borders with the doors we can turn on or off.
Nice. Let's go.
I think the code that controls the movement. It was like what 10,000 to 11,000. So all we need to do, I think, is modify these. These lines 10.030 to 10.060. We need to say something like. So we've got the checking out if the position is this, and we just need to say something like, well, I have to think this through because the sprite doesn't necessarily line up with the character slots, so we need to come up with a little formula that says either any character that's within a character's length within 8 pixels of the sprite. If that character is a solid block, essentially character number 96, then don't move.
Okay. Yeah. So writing it into the movement feature. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if it's not, then just go ahead and allow the movement. So we just need to come up with some. And I'm just thinking it through for now. We're not going to do it right now because we've got to go make dinner here. But I think we just need to peek, because there's a character or a command called GCHAR, which gets the character number for any position. So you can say, based on where the sprite is, do the math, calculate the character position in the grid for any adjacent character. If you're trying to move left and the character to the left of you, even if it doesn't line up perfectly, that's why we got to do a little math, is character number 96, then don't allow the movement. And if it's character number, then if it's anything else, then allow the movement. That'll let you go through anything, including the spaces, and get to the edge of the screen. But you won't be able to get to the edge of the screen if the adjacent character is solid.
Okay.
So we'll just have to figure out how to incorporate that into what we already have here. Probably, I think the easy thing to do is probably at the beginning of this section of code, this 10,000 block. We just need to say something like, at the risk of overpopulating this with variables, I think probably we can just, rather than calculating on the fly every time, we can just say, based on your position, we'll have a value for movement allowed, top down, left or right. Left movement allowed 0 or 1, right movement allowed 0 or 1, so on and so forth. And then in the movement code, we can just say, when it detects the joystick, you can immediately say, if the joystick value is blah blah blah, and movement is allowed, then do all this other stuff. Because right now it's actually it's checking for the joystick on the fly. Like on line 10,000. Let me just list. Just so I can see the beginning of this block here. Oh yeah, so it's getting the joystick value at line 10,010. So I think right then and there, and we're checking the position of the sprite. I think right then and there, like line 10,020 and 10,030, we just need to say, that's where we can do the math and calculate, whether your position, whether movement is allowed in any given direction based on your relation to the walls.
Okay.
And then we can say on line 10,030, if you're at a certain row and the joystick value is this, blah 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 blah, and movement is allowed to the left, or whatever it is, we can just insert a little bit of code right there on line 10,030.
We need to do that for
all 4 lines.
50.
Yeah, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Yeah,
Or we could just say, if we could actually do something like, if movement is not allowed, then just skip lines 1030, just skip ahead to line 10,000 and whatever.
Yeah.
Because you can do that too. You can have it say so it only run. Yeah, it's probably easier actually. Just say if movement is allowed, then if movement is not allowed in a certain direction, then skip ahead.
Cool.
If movement is allowed, then do these lines.
Cool.
Yeah, I just don't have it find the input. Yeah, exactly. Easier. You got to think easy with TI Basic. I'm not necessarily good at finding the easy ways to do things. I'm good at coming up with the reliable ways of doing things. I'm just not necessarily good at thinking of the efficient ways of doing things. I'm not a programmer by trade. I'm totally self-taught from when I was a kid. And Dylan, my friend who's with me right now, we released our first retro game that we built using Pico 8. It's on itch.io right now. It's called Frieza's Fury. It's a little free Dragon Ball Z fighting game. Very cool. Highly recommend you check it out. And I've done a little bit of programming for work, but only like baby programming. But I also teach philosophy, and part of teaching philosophy is teaching logic. So the logic comes naturally to me. it's doing it efficiently that does not necessarily come naturally to me, because if I were doing a logic proof, even a complicated one, I just care about a nice reliable way of doing it. I don't care how long it takes me. So thinking of the most efficient ways to do something, I find there to be a tension, and like everyone probably, I find there to be a tension between the readable, obvious way of doing something and the convoluted, efficient way of doing something. So I have to I veer towards the more verbose but easier to follow. You can see I like using descriptive variable names, for example, which is not as common in on these old systems. If you look at all the programming manuals of the day, they use X and Y and A and B and C and D and E and F for all the variables, and I tend to veer toward using descriptive variable names and stuff like that. So I think we're doing pretty well for being self-taught, though.
Agreed.
I mean, check it out. We've got our little
Nice. Yeah, I like the gray on white.
Yeah, I think the more I think about it, the more I think the colors for the other characters will pop nicely on it as well. And then if we go into a room, we can just have you can have one doorway in and out of the room. Change the colors, either just the border colors or the floor, the whole background, just to imply that you're in a room. I'm not sure how technicolor we want to get, but. So this is just our little debugging code right here, the numbers on the screen. This is just to keep track of the map coordinates. This is just the X and Y for the map positions. That's all that's going on there. Actually, it works pretty well. It's taking a second to draw the borders, but because the sprite movement is autonomous, the sprite movement is happening even while it's drawing the screen border. So that's actually, it works pretty well. It doesn't seem to interfere with the movement. I think that's pretty good work for today. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, I think the insight was having a border all the time, even on the exterior locations. As much as I didn't want to do that, it's so much easier to understand. When you look at this, it's clear where you can go and where you can't. If you turn off one of them, like let's see, which I gotta find the like say we turn off right door. It's clear now you can't go that way. It solves the problem of the border, of the corners of the map as well.
Yeah.
Now all we just need to do is make sure you can't get to the edge of the screen if there's a.
Yeah. You can't actually walk through walls.
Exactly. No problem. We'll figure that out next time. We've got a couple ways to approach it, including a suggestion from Ivalon here. So we will check that out next time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Let's save our work before we forget. I think I'm content to save this as the new version of the game, so I'm going to save it as both versions.
Cool.
Socrates. Disk 2. Work in progress. Save disk 2, Socrates. And I think next time I will try copying all of this into a code editor, so we don't have to worry about the mechanics of the. Unless you really want to go totally retro, I'm not sure we need to go that retro, to make a game.
I'll leave that up to you as the one doing them.
I don't know. It's fun to go totally retro, but it's very tedious, as you can see.
It is, yeah. Not being able to just being able to scroll up would change everything.
Yeah, and some older systems had that. I think a Commodore 64, you could actually move up the screen and edit a line already on the screen elsewhere on the screen. Just the TI didn't do that. It was just one line at a time.
Yeah, it's definitely cool, and definitely makes you respect the people who are doing that.
Yeah, especially if you load up a complicated basic program. Yeah, Apple had it in AppleSoft, exactly. But if you here, let me. We just saved our work here. Let me just make sure it worked. I should have. Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay. Let me load up a different, give me 1 sec to find. I don't know. This will take a second. It's a big program. It's just other random stuff I had in the same virtual disk here. Here's an example of. Look at how complicated some of these get. You see all the go subroutine? That's sending you to a subroutine to do specific things. So while this is listing out the program, Ivan, did you ever have a TI back in the day? Are you a TI person, or is this new to you as well? Yeah, that's right. For the real big ones, you'd actually probably write the program out on paper first. There were a lot of people. I used to write programs on paper. Like if I was bored in school, I'd take out a piece of paper and start writing computer programs on it. And if I was in, in school detention or something, I'd just sit there and write computer programs. But you see, these get awfully complicated really quickly because they're just not as efficient as modern languages are in terms of their structure. So. And a lot of just jumping around from line numbers to line numbers to line numbers, loops inside loops and branches, super annoying. But you can see what the big gestalt shift is probably that, when we were working in Peak 08, it refreshed 30 times a second, and TI Basic doesn't work that way. You draw something to screen, it stays there until you tell it to do something else, So all those 30 frames a second loops we had to do, just wouldn't work that way.
Yeah.
Which is part of the problem in creating high-paced, fast-paced action games in TI Basic. So there you go. I'll run it and you see something else besides what we've been programming. There you go. Not a very visually interesting program, but it's part of one chapter of a learning basic series. All those lines that do not very complicated stuff. That's why we're at every turn we're going to be going. How can we pare this down? How can we pare this down?
Yeah.
I think we did pretty good work for today. Oh, the only TI you had was a calculator? Yeah, see, this was my first computer I had when I was a kid, so I had it for years, even though we had a couple other computers in the house. We had an Epson QX10 for a little while, but until I was a teenager, this is the only computer I had, and from the time I was 3 years old in 1981 all the way to probably I was 10 or 11 before I got another computer, different kind of computer. So yeah, I think next time our big goal is probably just to make it so you can't walk through the walls, and then we can start putting stuff in the rooms and building a game. But at least we'll have a map that we can meander around with walls you can't go through and doors you can go through, and from there you can build a world.
It's gonna be so cool.
It is, yeah. In fact, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a screenshot of our little game so I can use that as the thumbnail for my stream on YouTube. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I meant to get a screenshot into the program. Oops. There we go. Boom. All right. Well, good work.
I agree.
I think I'll be at home on Sunday. You want to meet on Sunday?
Are
you
Sunday
busy?
Is actually my birthday. So
Oh, happy birthday! How old are you gonna be?
Thank you. 31.
31. I got a few years on it. Yeah. Sometimes I forget you're wise, so I forget that you're younger than I am. You're 31. I'm 47. Soon to be 48. So goes fast. Goes fast, man. It goes fast.
Yeah, more mature audience.
And so what do? We program games on this retro system.
Create.
So Ivalon, our goal here, because the last game we made we couldn't sell because we don't own Dragon Ball Z, and we wanted to create something we can sell. I had this wackadoodle idea to make a retro game that we can sell on cassette for collectors and whatnot. And so, I think we have a better chance of selling those than we do of some random person downloading, trying the game on Steam. So we decided to go totally 100% retro on this, including how we're going to sell it. And if we make no money, I can live with that. We just made something cool. And if we make some money, even better. So, and then we're going to be working on another game at the same time. Dylan's game is going to be called Fruits of the Forest, and it's some I've been describing it as a combination of Boo's Fury from Dragon Ball Z and Stardew Valley. Is that somewhat accurate, Dylan?
Kind of, yeah, because the only part of the Dragon Ball Z game is kind of like the art aspect. I guess there will be some other little tiny aspects of it, but mostly like the Stardew Valley, very Stardew Valley based, but food forest instead of farm.
Fruits of the Forest, yes. You never know. I mean, I'm optimistic that we're going to keep making games, and eventually we'll crack the nut on how to make money doing it. So. Like I said, every game developer ever, but even from 1981 onward, people have been saying, "How can I make money doing this?"
Right.
It's actually fun to look at old computer magazines and computer users group newsletters for advertisements. There are so many people hawking programs on cassette and disc and whatnot back in the day.
So cool.
It is cool. So it's fun to go retro, and I think there are enough people out there that would be willing to buy. I bet you we sell 100 copies at least, which is more than we'll probably sell on Steam. So,
yeah, and I personally want one of my own.
Yeah, I'd rather sell 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000, but there aren't that many TI users out there. I mean, back in the day there were, because they sold millions of them, but there are way more people into Commodore and stuff like, especially with that new Commodore system being released. So I kind of have in mind that we'll do this one first because I'm familiar with TI Basic, but it would be an interesting challenge to create something for the new Commodore Ultimate system they just released. It'll be more like remaking it than porting it, since the versions of Basic are different enough where you have to kind of start from scratch. But I wouldn't mind doing that. I think probably sell more if we did that, frankly. But this I know how to do, so it's my favorite system. So passion project,
Passion project.
Best kind of project. The things you make for yourself are so much better than the things you make for other people.
Yeah, as long as we're having fun, that's my main priority.
Yeah, and I'm a philosophy teacher, so making a weird little 8-bit, not even 8-bit, actually technically I think this is I think it's a 16-bit system technically, but because of its limitations, it actually performs worse than some other 8-bit systems out there because of the fact that its BASIC is interpreted. But yeah, I think it makes the little kid in me who likes messing with these old computer systems happy, and it makes the philosophy teacher in my adult life happy. So this is a great a blend of the older things in my life and the more recent things in my life.
Cool.
Well, let's go ahead and call it a night. I'm going to go make some dinner. Ivan, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next time if you catch us streaming. There's lots more TI-99 4A content on my YouTube channel. I mainly stream World of Warcraft, but maybe a quarter of my live streams I do are retro programming and retro gaming, so you can check those out on my YouTube channel. You can find it. There's a link in my Twitch description, but you can find it under my real name, Zachary Fruling, or under the Twitch handle, Cozy Azeroth. If you go to YouTube and plug in either one of those, you'll find my channel. I'd appreciate it if you check out my other videos, but keep tuning in if you want to see more retro game development. This is going to be a long road on this one. I bet you this takes us about 6 months as well, just like Frieza's Fury did. It's about the same level of complexity, I think. Different problems to solve, but about the same level of complexity.
Yeah.
So, a few months, we'll be done with this one. It'll go fast because now we can start putting things in the rooms, So we just have a bunch of if-then statements, like if it's this room, then draw this stuff in the background. If it's this room, then draw this stuff in the background, and then we can start working on once we start getting some stuff in a room, getting some background, we can start working on the game mechanics itself, like how does the dialogue work and where does the text pop up, and I don't have any idea how that's going to work yet. But let's just build a cool world to explore first, so we can start making stuff happen in it.
Yep. One problem at a time.
Well, thanks for the time, Dylan. Ivan, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream and make some dinner. But again, yeah, check out my YouTube channel and tune back in for more retro programming streams. There's a lot more to come. We have a long list of things we want to do, so we're going to be doing this for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
Have a good night in the meantime, everybody.
Yep, you too.
Thanks, Dylan. Catch you not Sunday, but next Thursday probably then.
Yeah, next Thursday.
Let's plan on that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, let's do it.
Sound good. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.